useless.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Box, the exciting show where we open a box and decide if the box rocks or if the box full of rocks.
I don't know if this is going to be a good episode.
This pillow is fucking useless shirt.
Yeah.
Grid is live. Initiate.
Excellent!
I'm not interrupting anything, am I?
Bogus.
Are you telling me that you built a time machine? Kind of a DeLorean?
My name's Norman Bates.
Oh, man, I'm so excited. I'm in, Mom.
Merry Christmas, movie home!
We came, we saw, we kicked his ass.
I'm just not the hero type, clearly.
Everything's under control. Situation normal.
Oh, well. Let me go in and say hi.
Hail to the king, baby.
Oh, hello, everybody. What's going on? It's
Good
Sunday.
morning.
Good afternoon. Good evening. Good night. Wherever you are, we're just happy to have you guys here tonight. We're going to talk quietly and just be relaxing for you for the next 2 hours. I don't believe that's true even for a second, to be honest with you. You know why? I do like that you're playing In the Heights here, by the way. Going off of what I put on there. But hey, it's PJ and Sean. What's up, guys? This is weird.
Oh, I'm the only one that can respond. That's right. You know, I'm just ready for us to run this show. It's going to be the longest show in PJCN history. Just you and I. We have a lot to talk about. We have so much to talk about, in fact, that I want the chat to decide what we talk about once we're done talking about the two things we have to talk about. But before we talk about the two things we have to talk about, we have to talk about what we watched this week. PJ.
Well, we definitely watch stuff. I've been on like a weird bingey kick thing. Obviously, I want to start with I got to see In the Heights today. They did some.
That's
cool
for later.
Oh, all right, fine. We'll talk about
that later. That's a whole thing.
Right. That's a whole thing. Well, you know what? Number one, actually, before we do anything else, before we talk about what we watched this week, you know what?
Oh, yeah, you got to plug stuff.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. You know what today is?
Mother's Day.
It's Mother's Day, which means that we need to wish all the great mothers out there a very happy Mother's Day from the PJCN. That's a very big deal. You guys do a lot of great work. If it wasn't for the mothers of the world, we wouldn't be here. So to all the mothers, we salute you.
Cheer. No, we can't salute. That's the other show's thing.
Well, you know.
Call to action is a salute thing. We don't do that.
Is that really a thing? I don't know.
Yeah. Action guys, they salute people. I don't know.
Look, the military did it before them, so I think we can borrow it.
No, the military definitely got it from the action guys.
I hope they clip that out later. Man, this is going to be quite the night. But real quick, yeah, I guess we do have stuff. If you have not already, we have a Patreon. You can go and sign up. There's all the tiers. If there's one that's right for you, hit that tier button. We love having anyone new coming and hanging out with us. I think there's going to be a new ramble on about movies this week. Our boy, Handsome Dan, had a little bit of surgery, so they had the week off. He's on the injured reserve list for right now. I'm just thinking about Bacon, so here's a picture about Bacon. Feel like that's just accurate to the situation. We're going to be doing a watch along this week of King Kong, so I guess that this works. We're going to be doing it on Wednesday, I believe, with Chris Clark. What?
It's May.
Yeah, well, the ball got dropped. We're fucking watching King Kong this month. You got a problem with it?
Yeah, but I'll submit it to HR. It's fine.
Oh, perfect. Well, the Bacon is dancing for you.
Wait, I am HR.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you want to say?
I don't know. I got nothing.
You're Brandy out here saying so many excuses, Brandy. It's been a long month. Give us a little bit of a break. I've had this is the first time I've been on the Unwind in a while, to be honest with you.
This is the first time I think I feel like we've missed a lot of PJCN shows. We've
You
been
and I
very,
have been very
we've been very busy boys.
Yeah, I have.
Very busy boys.
I don't know how many of you guys pay attention to the movie Trivia Schmodown. There's a lot going on over there.
I don't know how many of you pay attention to. No, nothing I've been doing is public, so can't help you.
Nah, Dev said it's been a while since the Unwind. Well, it's been 2
Yeah,
weeks.
I feel like it's been a we PJ and I made a point. We're like, today we're gonna unwind. I mean, I'm already thoroughly unwound. Jill's out of
I am
town.
too.
I don't have any stress when she's gone. You know.
Right.
Oh, did I say that out loud? Oops, my bad.
That's
no,
all right.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Look, I mean,
but yeah,
shit.
it's I got a very stressful week coming up, so I'm back in the grind. Can't talk about what that grind is publicly, but I guarantee you'll never find out about it until
That's
my
perfect.
tell-all book.
Jeremy, you're as surprised as the rest of us, but we're here.
Yeah,
When
it's
you're
like I
here-
said,
You're here
it's probably going to be the longest show in PJCN history.
because we're gonna ramble. We're gonna ramble on. I don't know. There's all sorts of stuff to talk about.
That's the other show. We don't do that here.
Shit. You're right. God damn it! I keep forgetting that. Now
Yeah,
look,
that's
you
the
asked
other
me
show.
what did I watch this week.
What did you watch
real
this week?
fast. I've been on this weird kick where I've really been wanting to like revisit stuff. One, just because it's been a little while, and two, because I write about movies for a living. But I was like on a weird kick last night where I watched Runaway Jury, The Rainmaker, and The Lincoln Lawyer, where I was just like, I'm just gonna watch a bunch of courtroom legal thriller type things. I also rewatched Star Trek 2009 this week. I rewatched Shaun of the Dead. I rewatched Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and I rewatched all of the Jack Ryan movies because I was excited for Without Remorse. So I've had a busy week of watching stuff while working because it was a little bit of a busy week, but also a little bit of a lighter week at the same time, which is confusing, but I could work and watch stuff at the same time. And I watched Without Remorse, which is new. It's a first Tom Clancy adaptation in a little bit now. Sum of All Fears was the last like real adaptation that they did. Shadow Recruit was kind of its own thing with the character that he created. And Without Remorse is currently on Amazon Prime, and it is actually quite good. If you are a fan of like military espionage thrillers, Michael B. Jordan plays the lead role of Clark, and that character is one that's like super major and has been played a couple of times now in the movies, once by Willem Dafoe and once by Liev Schreiber. So Jordan is now the third in line who's gotten to do it, and it's a cool movie. It's a little bit of like a streamlined version of the book because the book is like 600, 700 pages, but I thought they did a pretty good job of updating it and finding a way to make it like 2021's version, if you could do it, because it was definitely written like close to the late end of the 80s, early 90s when the Cold War was still kind of lingering. So to take that and try to move that into the modern day was a cool twist, and I enjoyed that. And then catching up on Mighty Ducks, which has been excellent. If you're not watching Mighty Ducks on Disney Plus, you should be. That is the best show on Disney Plus right now, outside of maybe Bad Batch, which we're
Yeah, I mean, Emilio's great in that show.
he is great in that show. I'm really proud of you for knowing that. Actually,
I've definitely watched it.
you definitely have. Right, it's the one about the hockey team, right? Fantastic. Oh, hey, Jill. Aren't you supposed to be in
Jill.
Florida, like vacationing? Why are you
She is in Florida.
No,
she
I
is
know, but
vacationing.
she should be vacationing and not worrying about us. I mean, I appreciate the view. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying.
Anyways, I gotta go.
Okay, perfect. Well, hi everyone. We're gonna just go ahead and let you guys control the rest of the show tonight. And by us, I guess I mean Sean. I don't know what. Sean, come back here.
Just you. I'm not here.
No, you stop that. You come back here right now.
I'm not here. I'm
You're here.
definitely not here.
You stop that. This is not how we're doing this tonight. We're here. We're together. Making this work.
So I watched lots of Top Chef.
Oh, all right. How's that?
It's Top Chef. It's you see one episode, you see them all.
And yet you're still watching it.
No, Jill's watching it. I'm in the room. I watched. I wanted to watch Invincible, so today I made a point to try to catch up on Invincible.
And how did that go?
I'm on episode 7. I don't know how many episodes are in the season.
I think it's 8 or 9.
Yeah, so I think I'm almost done.
Okay,
It's
right on.
very good. I've tried to sell you on it before. I think you're sold, but I don't know that you've watched it yet.
I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to. I'm very excited for it. I also should say Skybound is our parent company, so I guess I probably should watch it.
Yeah, you probably should watch it. The characters in it are so good. They're so compelling.
8
big
episodes,
fan.
as Anton said. I was close.
Yeah, it's 8 episodes, so I will be done with it tonight. I made a point of waiting to finish it, because when Jill came home the other night and I was on episode 6, she said, no, wait, I want to watch it with you. Well, let me tell you, it's been 2 weeks, and we've watched a lot of Top Chef.
That sounds right.
So now that she's gone, I'm going to watch it, and if she wants to watch it later, we can. But I'm going to go ahead and finish the show. I also watched a whole lot of nothing else. I watched Critical Role. I played some video games.
You're getting grimace-faced right now. I just want you to know that.
Yeah, well, she knows what she did. Hi,
Hey,
Jake Berlin.
I'll send you a link, Jake, if you want to be
Jake
here.
Berlin, get in here, buddy.
I'm going to send him a link.
Yeah, so go ahead and send him the link. I joined the boys over at the Blunderdome yesterday for a little bit of Wild Style, and it was fucking fun. Got to hang out a lot with Reefton and the rest of the boys over at the Blunderdome, and that was fun. But yeah, that was my week. Painted some Warhammer boys. Played a little more Jedi Fallen Order, which is great. Yeah.
Look at this fucking guy. I'm going to fucking time someone out. I'm just getting that feeling.
PJ's not in charge of this. Let's be clear here. PJ doesn't even know how to log into the Twitter.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But anyways, yeah. Look, we got some topics to talk about today. And if anyone wants to throw in some extra topics for us to talk about, we can. Now, which one do we want to hit first? Do we want to hit?
I'll do mine first because I'm the only one who did it.
Okay.
Or saw it, I guess, rather. Also, guys, Streamlabs, I went ahead and put that link up top. I'm sure Brandy will also put it in the chat because Brandy's the best of us. It's also down below us. So if you want to send us some shillings to keep the lights on, that's great. And, anything you want to talk about, just toss it in there and we'll do it. We'll talk about whatever, man. But I got to see In the Heights today, which I was super excited about. This has been my most anticipated movie of the last 2 years. Obviously, it was supposed to come out last year. It was pushed back due to COVID, and this is one of my favorite Broadway musicals of all time. In fact, I am one of the people who actually prefers In the Heights to Hamilton, which is, I know, like a little bit of a hot topic for people, but I just love the storytelling of In the Heights and the way that it pushes these characters in a different direction. I think they're both fantastic for different reasons, but I've always resonated more with In the Heights. And so I've been waiting to see this, man, and holy shit, did John M. Chu deliver what I was hoping would be a great adaptation and took it to the next level. I think this is pretty much as perfect as you can actually hope for in an adaptation of In the Heights. I think that across the board, from Anthony Ramos to Lynn, who comes back in a different role, Stephanie Beatrice, who I actually didn't realize was in the movie. I've noticed now, like going back and watching the trailers, that she's in there, but I am so used to seeing her in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. She is Diaz, and she is one of my favorite characters, and she is really great in this. But it's also Melissa Barrera, who plays Vanessa, who like really steals the film. Corey Hawkins is excellent. The cast is incredible. The musical numbers are amazing. But more than anything, it feels like the movie that we've been needing. It's a movie that it just resonates on like a very human level, especially with everything we've all been going through over the last couple of years, especially the last year of us all being locked down. And, a lot of people have been facing their own issues and trying to figure out what's next for their lives and stuff like that. And I felt like the movie really found that like very strong soul of the human perseverance in a way that I think is not always easy to translate. And it worked for me on a very human level. I was just completely blown away by it. And it's about 2.5 hours. Like, they really went all in to try to make sure it was like a very proper adaptation. And it flew by, man. Like,
were any songs missing or any musical numbers, anything big like that?
Not off the top of my head. I have to like really sit down and think about it again. More just out of like I was a little overwhelmed in the moment of watching it, and I really want to sit down and watch it again to do a comparison. There was a major change that, if you know the show, is in the trailer, and I was kind of talking to Sean about it off screen.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into it in fear of spoilers for people who have never seen In the Heights. But if you know the show and you've seen the trailer, there's something in the trailer that stands out very, very hard in a way that I was kind of like, oh, that's very interesting. And the way that is like incorporated and resolved is so beautiful, and it makes so much sense, and it made me love it even more. And if you love Crazy Rich Asians, one of the things that I thought that John Chu did really well with that movie was the way he like when like people were tweeting and stuff, it was something Chef did too. Like, there was icons, and he kind of used animation throughout the movie to just, if you've seen it, they do that here too. He kind of brought that back for In the Heights in a cool way. And so some of the musical numbers have some really cool uses of that same sort of animation in like creation.
Do they kind of do a effort to update it to 2020 or okay?
Yeah, there's a little bit of change.
I know In the Heights in passing from Choir we did some songs from it in Choir, and it's funny what you said. I want to go back to your Hamilton comment because I feel like I would like In the Heights better than Hamilton. I just have never gotten a chance to see it because there really isn't an adaptation of it, right? And I've never been to Broadway. But yeah, I mean, it visually it looks fantastic. Jill got me to watch Crazy Rich Asians, and that's a beautiful movie. It was a lot more fun than I was expecting. And yeah, In the Heights is great. The funny thing is about our choir class when we did it was we had a bunch of white guys playing the part of Usnavi and the rest of the cast because kind of hard in Orange County. Orange County Public School.
Right.
You're gonna give a lot of get a lot of white guys playing Hispanic characters. So
really and I'll say too, real fast, like all this, I just saw Chris Taylor, like PJ is convincing me to watch this. That's what I'm hoping. Like I know there's some people who are like probably on the fence because they don't really know. This may have already cracked like my top 5 musical adaptations of all time. I think it's really that good. I think John Chu, this might be his best film, just period across the board. It's between this and Crazy Rich Asians, but I'm also, again, a little bit biased because I already love In the Heights, so I take that with a little bit of a grain of salt. But like the way that they brought it together, the way that it flowed, the way that it felt, the acting, and Anthony Ramos, like to start on the Broadway show as Sonny, to end up in Hamilton, and then to land the lead role in the Heights as a movie adaptation is so incredible. And he just really delivers on a front that I think eclipses. I love Lynn, but Anthony is just a more well-rounded actor and singer altogether. And that's not a dig. I love Lynn also. I think Lynn is incredible, but Anthony adds a little something that I think not everyone can do. And to me, this reminded me why I love going to the movies. And I think for people who are coming back, who haven't gone in a long time, you're going to feel that. Like, it's the magic of movies. It's that magic of movie making. Like, if you've seen the trailer, that whole dance sequence on the side of a building and stuff, like, we don't see things like that very frequently. And so this is the perfect movie of coming out of COVID, I feel like, to really come back into.
Who was Lynn in the production? I know he wrote the production.
He was the lead. He was Usnavi.
He was Usnavi. Okay, interesting. It's so interesting to me that he's played the lead in his 2 big productions. He's played the lead along with written it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and what I was actually talking to someone about this earlier. One of the things that is so interesting to me is that he's also kept the same like core group around him a lot. And so they've gone from one show to the next, and I kind of like that he pays it forward in a cool way. Like, again, Anthony Ramos going from playing Sonny all the way to playing the lead of Usnavi in the movie. Like,
Yeah.
that's huge. So, you know,
Well, and
props
he
to
knows.
doing that.
To be fair, I think he knows he shouldn't be playing Usnavi in the movie.
Well,
you know.
right. And, you know,
Yeah.
if Hamilton ever gets adapted, it's going to be the same thing. There's no way that he'll
Yeah.
ever play Hamilton at this point.
I'm gonna let's agree to disagree on that one. I think he could play Hamilton. He probably won't.
Actually, here, let me go back. Let me step that back a little. He might be able to, but they would have to use a lot of de-aging to do it.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I didn't really think. Yeah, I guess that's fair.
It's because it's the same thing with this, right? On Broadway, you can get away with it because there's a little bit more of a suspension of disbelief. But Usnavi needs to be younger in his 20s, like closing in on 30. Lynn's not that anymore. In Hamilton, there's enough time that spans that I guess you could get away with having someone older and use makeup and stuff to play with the time. But all that said, man, whew, so good. Matt, should I check out the soundtrack before I see the movie? Actually, yeah, because there's actually a couple of changes in some of the songs to some of the lyrics. That happens a lot in musical adaptations where they make a little bit of change along the way. And so it'll be a fun comparison for you to listen to it, know it, and then catch some of the changes. Because I was kind of catching some throughout and I was like, oh, I like that. That's a nice update and things like that. And I think it gives you a good idea of what you're getting into. I can't wait to get the cast album for this one though, because I think that I actually prefer a couple of the renditions of the songs.
Oh, so. I bet. I mean that's the thing about Lynn. I really like Lynn for his vocal tenor and his vocal choices, but ultimately he's not the best vocal performer. He's the best songwriter, and that's his thing. He's the best composer, the best songwriter. He's not the best vocal performer. So yeah, I'm kind of excited to hear what the new renditions sound like. But I'm playing In the Heights, the album, right now because I do legitimately like this album. Right,
it's so good, dude.
So,
yes,
I actually, it's funny because I haven't listened to this in 5 years, and I'm like, yeah, this is Lynn. I didn't even fucking think about that. I never really put that together. That's the same guy. I knew Lynn did this before he did Hamilton, but I never put together. Yeah, that voice I know from In the Heights is Lynn. That's so weird.
I really hope everyone in the chat, anyone who's on the fence, please check it out. Even if you don't want to go to the theater, it'll be on HBO Max on June 11th. It's a day and date one with Warner Brothers.
Till June. When does it premiere? Is June 11th?
June 11th, yeah. June 11th.
In theaters as well?
Yeah, so it'll be a day and date with HBO. So, here's me geeking out about it a little bit ahead of time, but I'm also just hoping to get you guys to check it out.
So we're gonna get to talk about it again then.
Yes. Oh yeah, absolutely. But this is my review, if you will. And I tweeted it earlier. I think the movie's a triumph, and I don't use words like that normally. I think movies are really fun and really great, but this movie, this is a soulful film. It brought me to tears a couple of times throughout. I always knew it would because I know the story, I know the musical, I know what's happening, so I was prepared for it, but not prepared enough to not get lost and caught up in it to the point that I was bawling. It's just so incredible. It's just so human. I love it.
But to be fair, Pat, you cry a lot at movies?
Sometimes. I have emotions.
That's all right. We're okay with that.
All right. I really do think, though, Brian, does it have an Oscar chance? Yes, it absolutely does. Really, you're going to do what is this? I'm not Ben Affleck. I'm not Ben Affleck. You take this off here right now, sir. Does it have Oscar chances? I really hope John Chu gets nominated for Best Director. I don't know if he will, but musicals very frequently have been something that the Academy seems to enjoy. My fear is that In the Heights is going to get overlooked by West Side Story come December. So that does scare me a little bit.
Look, I'm not a big West Side Story fan.
Dude, I don't love West Side Story. That trailer is great, and it's Steven Spielberg.
I know. My dad fucking loves West Side Story, and I've never I don't know. Maybe it's because the film is a little dated, but PJ is not a robot.
That's good to know.
That we can confirm PJ is not a robot. Look, Pat, there's another thing we want to talk about today.
There is.
We're 25 minutes in, and I know. All right, so first, let me start by saying we are sorry we have not had a water cooler lately. Let's be honest here. Saturdays are a little awkward for PJ and I, and Maxwell has been busy with some personal stuff. So yeah, water cooler has had to take the back seat for that. So we're gonna jump in to a discussion on some things.
Right.
So before we do that, I'm gonna play this clip.
We look damn good, though.
So we're talking Falcon and the Winter Soldier is what you're saying right now.
Well, we never did we?
No, that's why I'm like,
All
that's correct. No, that's why.
So
I was like,
let's-
it was
let's
more of
give-
a bit to be like, yeah, we
Let's give ourselves like 10 minutes to gush about the finale of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because we didn't get a chance to talk about it here. In fact, I didn't get a chance to talk about it anywhere. Dude, that finale was fucking nuts.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was not sure exactly where it was gonna go, and it's kind of how I felt with WandaVision. It was like, hey, we have a lot. It feels like left to wrap up, but they kind of got there. I didn't love all of it, just because I also think it could have used another episode to breathe a little bit. But I also understand that the COVID stuff super affected the show. And so I'm also willing to give them that. Like, we know that they had to like vastly change some of the story arc stuff. They had to. There was like an entire virus subplot that was cut from the show.
That apparently is a little bit of a miss.
Is it?
Yeah, a little bit misinformation.
Okay. Please inform me, because I did not know this.
Okay, so I've heard that yes, there was a virus subplot, but that it had nothing to do with COVID, and it wasn't actually even cut with COVID, or cut because of COVID. And then I've also heard that no, that's not true. There was no subplot. It wasn't cut. So I don't really know. It was Nando V Movies that I think originally first posited that. And he made a really good argument for it. He brought a lot of good proof for it. I think we talked about it on the water cooler. But I don't know. When we actually see how the finale shaped up, unless they did some serious reshoots, I don't think that's the case. So I don't know. But maybe. That being said, yeah, I agree. I think the finale needed another episode to breathe. I think the way they handled some characters is confusing.
I'm going to say it
and I'm not just talking about the one you think I'm talking about.
No, I know you're not, but I will say I think this is exactly why I meant earlier. I think it needed another episode, because I needed an episode of them going back and forth with Walker. I really did.
Yeah.
I needed one more episode of the tension and stuff, because it resolved so quickly that it didn't hit totally right for me.
I think all three of our villains were mishandled. And
I don't necessarily disagree.
And I don't actually. There's like 5 villains in the show, so let me be more specific. I think that Zemo was mishandled towards the end of the show. I think Zemo was mishandled. I think Sharon was mishandled. I think Carly was mishandled, and I think John was mishandled, and only in those last 2 episodes, because while I like how Zemo's story ends, where he gets taken by the Dora Milaje to the raft, and that definitely sets up our Thunderbolts that we want. I don't know. It just kind of felt like a hollow ending for him.
Real quick, we got a Streamlabs donation.
Uh-oh.
And this is from Ferris Muthana. Ferris just wanted to say hello. Thank you, Ferris.
He says hi, doesn't he?
Yeah, he says
hi. Ferris.
We're happy to see you, Ferris.
I love you, Ferris.
You're the best, man.
Yeah, like, I just think that, I think Zemo, I would have liked him to have something, I don't know, something more lasting on the show. And I feel like...
I don't disagree with you, and I get what you're coming from, and this is a bigger conversation that I think we have to continue to have, unfortunately, with the MCU at large.
Mm-hmm.
They're meant to continue on, so it makes it hard to be like, we may not have liked it here, but the problem is it's a stepping stone for later, and that's you're right, because it needs to start being more contained, right?
Well, and I think that's because that's one of the things that a lot of people have a problem with in Age of Ultron, is that, which I don't mind it in Age of Ultron, because that's a movie in a series of movies, whereas this is an 8-episode or a 7-episode series, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me let me have a contained story for that character. And the other thing I had a problem with Zemo, they introduced the mask. They made a big deal about the mask in the trailers and stuff. He only puts on the fucking mask once, right?
And
now,
the tanks.
Don't get me wrong. I'm excited to see more Zemo, but I just wish that we could have had just one. I only needed one more something with Zemo, especially because they do this thing in this show where they gray the line between Zemo being a hero and a villain. Dwayne, that's a fair point. It's a fair point. And I think, if anything, that makes it worse, right?
Well, and I think that, to your point, though, too, and I totally just trailed off and lost my train of thought. Motherfucker. Oh, well.
So I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of my villains having a little bit of gray, but Zemo is someone that we've seen kill T'Chaka. We've seen basically try to lead Steve and Bucky to kill Tony, or Tony to kill Steve and Bucky. Most likely he wanted Tony to kill Steve and Bucky because he's anti-super soldier, right? I don't know. I just would have liked because I love Zemo as a villain in the comics, in the show. I actually think that the MCU rendition of Zemo is my preferred rendition of Zemo.
Mine too.
Somewhere, someone a little more calculating, someone a little bit grounded, to be honest. Like he's a rich prick, but he has a little bit of grounding to him. I like what they set up with him in Madripoor. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Malcolm, that's a great fucking point. He had the Darcy treatment, where we set him up to be a major player in the show, and then, like, in the last 2 episodes, they're just sidelined.
And the problem is both those finales were affected by COVID stuff, and they've talked about that a lot with WandaVision, is like some of the stuff they didn't get to shoot, or then they had other stuff that they didn't use because they didn't quite fit. Like, COVID, man. And
that's fair, but that we still have to speculate on the show we got.
Oh, no,
right.
I know. I don't disagree.
So,
and I know what I was going to say. You're right about the Zemo stuff. And again, this just proves the bigger point that I think it needed one more episode.
I think it needed one more episode. Yeah. All right, so let's jump on to Carly. I don't know what the fuck they wanted us to think about Carly at the end.
She wasn't the villain, even though she was supposed to be the villain. Again, I think that they were trying to create a lot of gray area where it was actually like very morally ambiguous pretty much the whole time. For better or worse. It just, again, we didn't get enough time with some of the characters. I thought Carly had a great arc until, like, I didn't quite understand what they were trying to do other than...
she blew up a fucking... Like, all right, so they wanted her being redeemable... But she blew up, what was it, a GRC resource center, and then she blew up a van full of senators or dignitaries?
Yeah.
Like, okay, how are you redeemable? You're not. Look, Whether or not you agree with the policies of those dignitaries, they're not worth blowing up if you want, and I mean Marvel, right?
Right.
Marvel, don't blow them up if you want Carly to be redeemable. So, there's that. John, yeah, you're right. When they set up John the way they did, I wanted a John versus Falcon showdown or something, anything. I don't care.
I really felt like it was leading to that because one of the great comic covers of all time is Walker versus New Cap, which is really, really awesome. So I was hoping for a shield on shield fight. I guess the other problem is we already got Cap versus Cap in Endgame, so they didn't want to repeat that beat, and that's totally fair too.
And we also, let's be honest here, Sam with the vibranium and the wings is going to fuck up John Walker.
Well, of course.
But, I don't know, it felt like with Walker, they flipped the switch. I liked the moment where he sees the armored car going over the cliff and he makes that decision. I like that he makes that decision, but to me, that decision didn't feel like it had the right amount of setup. And again, it comes down to, I think we could use another episode to let this breathe. And I had an issue with Bucky being all pal, like, all buddy with John at the end when they're walking away with the cell phone.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seemed awkward. Now I'm going to get to something. I'm not trying to bash on this show too much. The last thing is the Sharon thing. A lot of people have an issue with the Sharon thing. I have a little bit of an issue with the Sharon thing, but I think, again, this comes back to we needed some time to let the show breathe. Mm-hmm. I am okay with them changing Sharon from the comics. I just don't feel they've set it up well enough. I have a feeling she's going to be a Skrull.
I agree. That's what I was going to say, is I think that for everyone who's upset with her portrayal, I think we're very much seeing the beginning stages of Secret Invasion. Mm-hmm. And I think it's very obvious that she's going to be one of the first.
Yeah.
That is revealed to be one, because the other thing, obviously, that within the show that we haven't really talked about is that they're clearly setting up the Thunderbolts.
Right.
And that's why Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character exists, and I think that we're going to see.
Is it Louis or Louis?
Louis, maybe. I'm really bad about stuff like that. I apologize.
You don't have to apologize to me. You apologize to her, Patrick.
JLD, she rocks, because I love Seinfeld. But with all of that being said, Sharon is going to, I think, have to come up against the Thunderbolts at one point too. I think that part of the crazy is going to be them being involved in the Skrull stuff. So I'm going to be very curious how that's going to play out. I think it's very obvious. Zemo's going to be a part of it. Walker's going to be a part of it. And I'm very much hoping, I don't know if it'll happen, but I'm very much hoping that we get to see Red Hulk in it. I hope that they let
me too.
William Hurt become Red Hulk.
Or they'll at least put the Abomination in, one of the two. They can also make the Abomination Red Hulk. We've kind of seen Marvel do stuff like that before with the Iron Patriot. And I'd be okay with that so long as William Hurt is involved. Here's another thought. They can make William Hurt the Iron Patriot and make Abomination Red Hulk.
I would love that. However, if the speculation on stuff that I've heard about No Way Home is true, they don't want to go down that route just yet.
Okay. All right.
And I understand why of that.
Because I don't think even if they introduce Norman in No Way Home, you can't make him Iron Patriot. We don't have enough setup for him.
Exactly. But okay, so this is here. I'm going to put this on here real fast.
Speculation. Hold on. Before you say anything, I'm going to take a guess, and I'll let you put up that speculation tab. Folks, give us a minute to talk about some speculation from No Way Home. If you don't want No Way Home speculation,
we will pull the banner down when we're done.
Okay.
So there's a banner.
So here it is. Here's my prediction. They're going to make Willem Dafoe. They're going to make Willem Dafoe Iron Patriot.
No.
Okay, what do you got?
So there is speculation that Dafoe, we've heard that Dafoe is in the film, and that the arc that Peter is going to potentially go on, again, this is speculation, I don't know if it's true, is that after the situation that happens in this film, the next arc is going to be actually about introducing the Norman Osborn of the MCU. And after Peter has dealt with a goblin, he's convinced that theirs is also going to turn, but they aren't sure. Like, he's comes off as like a philanthropist and like someone like that, and they're gonna really lean in on it. So I think it's gonna be like a long-term play essentially.
I'm gonna cut you off.
I know. I sent the link for someone.
Guys, I just want to take a minute and wish a very, very special happy birthday, I think it was yesterday, to Jake Iacovetta, the producer and composer of this show. Not this show, of this song. Nothing to do with this show. He's not welcome here. We don't like him here. But without further ado, let me introduce Jake Iacovetta. Oh, Dwayne. Dwayne's here.
Hi, Dwayne.
Jesus Christ. You guys have said a lot that I don't know if I even have enough time to address all of it.
We're just having some fun, man.
Speed round. Speed round.
Okay, here we go. We'll go through speed round. Sharon, while I agree, I don't have a problem with them changing things from the comics. I have a problem with them fundamentally changing the character. Sharon is never shown to be a bad guy in the comics, ever. There's not a single run where that happens. I have a problem with that. 2, Zemo had to be changed and made redeemable in order to get him on the Thunderbolts. That is a major difference from him in the comics. He is never a good guy in the comics. He founds the Masters of Evil, but once they become a Dark Avengers Thunderbolt-esque team, he leaves because he is always a villain and never on the side of good. So they had to make that change. 3, I 100% think that if there's going to be a true Iron Patriot, it's going to be Norman Osborn, and I think it's going to be after No Way Home when he becomes the leader of S.W.O.R.D.
Ooh, okay. I'm into that. That.
They're gonna use Secret Invasion to push him into the leadership position.
We did well on that speed round. You did really well on that speed round. What were we talking about? I forgot.
Well, we were talking about Spider-Man, but this is better because now we've moved off of spoilers or potential speculation.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I'm excited for Spider-Man. Okay, so here's what I wanted to get to after all my critiques. This show, Falcon and Winter Soldier, I found myself more excited at 11:59 every night to watch the next episode of Iron Patriot or of Falcon and Winter Soldier than I did for The Mandalorian. I looked forward to this show more than I did for The Mandalorian. Coming from me, that fucking says a lot about this show. That's one of the reasons why the last episode, to me, I found a lot of flaws in it. Was just because I was so stoked on the show. I love this show. I love Bucky. I love Falcon. I like the way that they handled those two characters. And holy shit, did they make that Falcon costume look good.
That Falcon costume.
The cap costume looks so good. And I loved the last scene with Isaiah and Falcon so much. So I think like they stuck the landing pretty well on the show. But like getting there in the last like episode felt a little rocky for me. But I'm excited to have Madam Hydra. Swear you guys say something.
I mean, I liked it more than going back and having rewatched both.
Mm-hmm.
I like Falcon and Winter Soldier more. I think the story in Falcon and Winter Soldier is stronger. I think the story in WandaVision loses a lot when it no longer has the mystery box week to week feel to it. Once you know where it's headed, it loses a lot of steam. Mm-hmm. And it especially feels muddled going into the last episode of WandaVision, where I think even though the last episode was rushed and didn't quite close everything off with maybe quite the neat ending that we wanted, I don't think it falls as flat as the final episode of WandaVision did.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point.
Does now.
Yeah,
because I think overall, like the story, the story just is more cohesive, and I think kind of like what I was saying I've said a few times, this was meant to be watched all together.
Mm-hmm.
Where WandaVision was kind of meant to be watched week. Nice dick, bro.
I live next to a racetrack. It's fine.
But I think this was designed and probably conceptualized by the creators for the binge model.
Mm-hmm.
And WandaVision wasn't. It was designed very much to be watched week to week. And I think that reflects in watching it a second and a third time when you don't have that magic of waiting for the next episode.
Yeah, I think I felt that way too. I found myself when episode 3 came out, I found myself going back and watching the first 3, and I kind of quite enjoyed that, like watching them kind of in succession. I haven't gone back and watched the whole thing in succession, but at least going back and watching those, those first 3, fucking loved it. Dwayne's voice really is very soothing, Ferris. I agree with you there. Yeah, I mean, WandaVision for me, I loved WandaVision, but I don't have any need to go back to watch it. Now, if they do another season, I'll be great. Whereas, like The Mandalorian and Falcon and Winter Soldier, Bad Batch, last season of Clone Wars, everything else that Disney Plus has put out for these two properties, I have been thoroughly on board with. Let me tell you, that last season of Clone Wars, I've gone back to watch a couple times now, especially those last 4.
It's real good.
Really good.
To Jeremy's point in the chat, Marvel doesn't have any lesson to take from Star Wars TV because none of the arcs that were closed in Star Wars TV matter to the movies. So you can't equate those in the way that they've executed their TV universes, because Star Wars has they've made a very pointed effort that their arcs close and do not, while they tie into the movies, they do not bleed into the movies the way the MCU TV universe is going to bleed and directly affect the movies.
I was gonna say, like, it's massively different because all the stuff happening in the Marvel shows are still directly connected to the movies. Like they've said out loud that this stuff matters. Like, you may not have to watch the shows directly, but the stuff happens in it, and it's better to have watched it than not, because the stuff is going to directly interact and affect and have ramifications on future events. So there's nothing to take away from, like, Star Wars is doing their own thing. They're trying to figure out television, and like Mandalorian season 1 is very good, but it also took them time to figure out how to like do episodic television better. It took them time to figure out story arcs better. And they're still figuring out. Like, I thought Mando season 2 was great, but I also understand the people who had the problems with the moves that it made. And like, Star Wars is still figuring out its thing. I think on the animation front, it's the one side that they've really got it. Like, I think so far, and we'll talk about it a little bit, is Bad Batch has been very good already. The Clone Wars ended strong, and it also took Clone Wars, in my opinion, 3 seasons to really figure itself out. Like, there's always a learning curve to this stuff, you know? So
well, yeah, the Clone Wars, the original Clone Wars series is a pretty weak watch. I've had so many people asking, hey, should I watch Clone Wars before I watch Bad Batch? Fuck no. Don't bother, because you're going to slog through 7 seasons to watch a whole other show. Now, if you want to go back and watch it, great. But if you're going back to watch the Clone Wars just so that you can, if you're going back to watch Clone Wars just so that you can watch the Bad Batch, it's not worth it.
You need to watch the first 4 episodes of the last season.
Yeah, I mean, and I've kind of talked about. I want to put together like a here's what you have to watch the Clone Wars, right? And really, the last season is where you get all of your bread and butter. You can go back, go back and watch the Mandalorian stuff to go watch Mandalorian. Go back and watch the Bad Batch stuff to watch Bad Batch. Go back and watch, Ahsoka leaving the Jedi Temple and watch the final arc for Ahsoka stuff. But you don't really need to watch start to finish all of the Clone Wars. There's so much filler in that show.
Yeah.
Because it was syndicated episodic television. It was not streaming television with a more specific approach, with a more direct approach. You can do the shorter seasons. You don't have to worry about that shit for...
Overall, the Clone Wars, I think you're right. I think that there's some great arcs and stuff, but it's still episodic television that was 24 episodes a lot of the time. So there is a lot of filler, but there's certain arcs that are really, really great. And I think that's why Season 7 is my favorite, because it felt very linear for the most part. The Bad Batch stuff was the only thing that was clearly a setup for that spin-off show.
No, actually, the Bad Batch stuff was not a setup for the Bad Batch show.
Well, it was animatronic, or they had done it.
It was an animatic, yeah.
But I mean,
so I personally, okay. So before we get too far, let's go ahead and shift gears here.
Well, real quick before we shift gears, has anyone noted that both Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agent Carter have both been moved to Marvel Legacy?
Yep, I noticed that. That was talked about a little bit.
Which means that they are not part of the MCU canon.
Yep.
What does that mean, Marvel Legacy? I'm not familiar.
So
that is all of that's all of the Marvel properties that they got from Fox. So all of the old X-Men movies or Sony, that's where they're going to be putting Spider-Man and all of that, and Venom and all that stuff. So it's all of the stuff that is a Marvel property but was not made by Marvel and Disney.
By Feige.
Although Agent Carter,
because Agent Carter, he had a heavy hand in Agent Carter.
Okay, so that's interesting because
it's basically all of the TV and movies that were before they really wanted to kick off the MCU to what it is now. Because
the first 2-3 seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Maybe it was first 2 seasons.
First 4. Because 4 is the Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider's my favorite arc of that show.
Yeah. No. So I'm not even talking about Ghost Rider arc. I'm saying up until Age of Ultron.
Yes.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did matter to the MCU. Beyond Age of Ultron, it didn't. Right?
Yeah, that's where they made the marked effort to separate.
Yeah, and beyond that, there's a lot of stuff that does not jive with the MCU. For example...
Well, can I just ruin Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for you?
Sure.
Because you're never going to... So, at the end of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it's revealed that it's a completely separate universe.
Oh, yeah, no, okay, yes, yeah. I know that. I fucking love that show. I love that show so much. And I really like where they went with it after... Ghost Rider on, I love where they went with it. The stuff with the LMDs and the stuff with the space station and the time travel and the alternate dimension Agent Coulson, all that kind of shit, I fucking loved it. But it does not at all jive with anything in the MCU.
Yep.
It jives a little bit with the Inhumans, but really it doesn't. And is the Inhumans really something that's part of the MCU? Does Marvel even want to recognize that show exists anymore? Probably not.
But
yeah.
yeah.
Jeremy said
I think that they've.
Oh, go ahead, Dwayne.
I was gonna say and this will kind of address what Jeremy is saying. The reason that they've moved all of this stuff to Legacy, and based on some of the rumors that we've heard about No Way Home as well as She-Hulk, it allows them to bring back actors that were in characters that we loved, but were not part of the MCU.
I mean, I would love them to bring in Quake in the MCU. I would love them to bring in.
I don't think they're not going to touch the Inhumans with a 10-foot pole for at least another decade.
No, but you could bring Quake in
and
not give a shit.
No, because you gotta explain the existence of the character.
Which, you know what? Can we talk for a minute about how they handled Sky slash Daisy, where they introduce her as this unique character, and then season 3 they just decide no, she's an existing Marvel character. Is that a little weird to anyone else?
No, because I think they handle it pretty well.
Do you think they had that plan from the beginning, or they just decided it?
No, I think that they were like, "Hey, let's bring in the Inhumans. We're gonna make an Inhumans show, and
let's change our main character's name."
Well, they were like, we need to have an existence. Like, they needed to explain the show and have people be familiar with the Inhumans before the show started, and that was their way to do it.
It was just so weird that they not like, it'd be one thing if they changed the character's name, like if they're like, oh, this character's actually Daisy Johnson Quake and has been for the whole time, but by the end of the show they're calling her Daisy. This chick has gone by the name Sky for 22 years and now you're calling her Daisy, and she's cool with it.
I mean,
it seemed a little weird to me. Like, Dwayne, if someone came to you and said, hey, look, your real name is Jason Medingus. Would you, after 2 years, just start going by Jason Medingus? No, you go by Dwayne.
If people called me that enough over those 2 years, I would.
All right, well, Dwayne, I have big news here. Your real name's Jason Medingus.
I mean, I went by my last name for 11 and a half years.
That's fair.
After growing up for 18 years being called by my first name, I am more recognizing when people call me by my last name now than when they call me by my first name.
Your first name.
It's kind of the same thing with, I changed to doing the nickname thing. Like, I got called one thing my entire life until I didn't.
I still call you that one thing.
I know.
And then for Matt's comment, yes, kind of, but those don't really exist according to Disney. Like, those shows still belong to Netflix. So unless they make a deal with Netflix to get them onto Disney Plus, like, they're always just going to be this tangential show because all of those characters do belong to Marvel again.
Yep. They've gotten them all back at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Marvel has gotten everything back except for Spider-Man.
We've kind of talked about the fact that they can bring in whoever they want. They could bring in I'm going to fuck up some of these names, I'm sure. Mike Coulter and the guy who plays Kingpin, D'Onofrio, and
Vincent D'Onofrio.
And whoever plays fucking, they could bring in all those actors to play the same characters.
Well, and as we know,
and Netflix can't say anything because there's nothing wrong with casting them as.
I think Luke Cage is probably going to be one that we don't see.
And that's fine.
Because, well, the only reason is because they're not going to want people to go back and watch the show and see Mahershala Ali in that when he's going to be Blade.
That's fair. I'm just saying, as far as like, they can bring those characters in and not reference the existing backstories, and they could bring in the same actors, which is probably what they're going to do with Charlie Cox and hopefully Vincent D'Onofrio. I loved Mike Coulter as Luke Cage. I loved I can't remember the guy's name right now, but Loris Tyrell as Iron Fist.
Yep.
I know a lot of people don't like Iron Fist. I quite enjoyed Iron Fist.
I liked season 2 a lot.
Of Iron
Like,
Fist?
a lot. Yeah.
There wasn't a
liked
season 2 of Iron Fist.
I also quite like John Bernthal as Punisher, and
We only got one
maybe
season.
It was the end of season 1 then.
Yeah, the way season 1 ends is really cool, and I wish we would have gotten that
Iron Fist
season
had
2.
seasons.
Yeah, no, season 2. Yeah, ends with the chi guns.
Yeah.
That's season 2. They did 2 seasons of that show.
Yeah, I was like you had me throw. I was like, wait, no,
I
he
think
didn't
that's
have
how
chi
season
guns at the
1.
end of-
I think that's how season 1 ends.
No, I'm positive there were 2 seasons.
I'm not. I believe you. I'll take your word for it. I liked that show.
Yeah, there were
personally.
2 seasons.
A lot of people shit on that show. I liked that show. You know, yeah, it's a white guy doing kung fu, but that's the point of Iron Fist, right? Like,
I mean, people who are complaining about it's a white guy doing kung fu, that is the character. Like,
Yeah, like that's literally
that's
the
what
point
like
of
when
the
people
character.
were like, oh my god, they're whitewashing a character. I was like, no,
No,
they're not.
no.
He's always been white.
only been white. Now I'm glad we're getting Shang-Chi because I wish we would have had, like, I wish we could get Iron Fist and Shang-Chi in the same universe.
Real quick, Shang-Chi. The correct
Shang-Chi?
pronunciation is Shang-Chi.
Everyone says Shang-Chi.
I know they're wrong. Simu Liu came out and put out the correct pronunciation.
All right.
I think it was
I have
last
an
week or the week before.
Important question then. Is it Roz or Raish?
Honestly, I think it depends on who's writing the character.
Okay, that's what I've always said.
because the
Jill-
character himself says it differently.
Yeah, Jill is very. Jill and a few other people I know are very big Batman the Animated fans, and so they're very hardcore. No, it's Raish. It's a made up name. It's not a real name. Who cares?
It depends.
I liked
entirely on
how-
who's writing.
I liked how Arrow approached it in making some people say Roz and some people say Raish. Personally. All right.
Yep.
Now, do we do the move on thing? We got to talk about the other big topic.
Which is
Well, I got to play the clip first, and then we do that.
Oh.
We go into the intro.
I thought you were going to say Mother's Day.
No. That's not it. We're not talking about that. We're talking about Star Wars. We don't have a clip for Star Wars Unwind, so we'll just do our own here. We gotta animate our own while we go.
I like that you're doing this while we're just live.
Patrick, what do you expect?
Nothing.
What do you expect?
This is us.
We're unwinding. All right, Bad Batch aired. We didn't do an unwind for that, so we got to talk about the Bad Batch.
Well,
We all saw both episodes of the Bad Batch.
there hasn't been a.
Not unwind. Water cooler. We didn't do a water cooler for it.
Well, I mean, it would have been yesterday. So it's not like we're a day late, folks. We're a day
We
late.
were gonna do it. We were gonna do it Friday, and then PJ and I said
Nah.
Tired.
tired.
Tired is what we said.
You know, after the big Schmodown event and other stuff.
Well, as Sean knows, I didn't know that there was another episode coming out this week.
I didn't either. Dwayne, you were not allowed.
Dwayne, yeah, neither did PJ.
yeah,
So here's what happened. Here's what happened with Bad Batch, right? So Dwayne and I were on call Thursday night, and so was PJ. PJ went to bed. 11:59 rolls around, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go watch Bad Batch. Dwayne's like, there's another episode of Bad Batch. And then I get I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go watch it. He's like, okay, great, I'm gonna watch it, or watch it in the morning, or watch Mighty Ducks or something. And And then the next morning, I text BJ, hey, are we doing the water cooler today for Bad Batch? Because him and I were both busy on Saturday, so we couldn't. So, actually, I think you were just busy on Saturday, not me.
Yeah,
we roll around to like 11-ish. I'm like, hey, we're doing water cooler today? And he's like, so I was watching some John Clancy stuff, and, you know, I didn't know there was another episode, so I haven't seen the other episode. I'm going to watch it in a little bit. I'm like, what the fuck, PJ? All right, great. We'll do it on Sunday. So here we are. Welcome to Water Cooler
Wait.
Part 2 - The Unwind.
Question: did you just call him John Clancy?
He did.
God damn it, John.
You know what I was thinking? Okay, here's where my brain went. I was going to say Jack Ryan.
You didn't say that though either.
Nope, John Clancy. We're going with John Clancy.
John
My
Clancy.
favorite video game series of all time, John Clancy's Splinter Cell.
It's not the game.
Nope, not a game? Okay.
Not a game. Perfect. So we're talking Bad Batch.
We're talking Bad Batch. What did we think?
Don't everyone get fired up all at once.
Yeah, no one get too excited at once. All right.
Okay, so I'm already a little worried.
Ooh.
Because, and this is what do we know how many episodes this season is going to
16.
16.
Okay. They've already, to me, put in a filler episode.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
While I think that the story or the points that were made in the second episode were good and important for the character development, as a whole, I think the episode was filler. And for the most part, all we got was, oh, cool, now we know how the Empire was tracking people all this time.
So, I agree with you. However, in Star Wars animated, let me frame this the right way.
Another
I think
individual.
I think the red car won. All right, so let's frame this the right way. With the Clone Wars, with the final season of Clone Wars, I did get a little agitated at some of the filler. And funny thing is, I did get agitated at the Bad Batch episodes in the Clone Wars. Because to me, those were filler in the Clone Wars. Part of that was because I had already seen those, right? The animatics for those existed on the internet. Like, everyone can go watch them. Now, they ended up adding a bunch to those episodes. They fluffed out those episodes a little bit, I think in anticipation for the series. They wanted to give us a little more time with the characters to get used to them. However, in the Clone Wars or Rebels or Resistance, I'm okay with filler because these shows are not meant to be. Let's put it this way. These shows are not for us. These shows are for kids to watch as if it were Saturday morning cartoons, and Saturday morning cartoons have filler. Because of that, I'm okay with the filler. That being said, episode 2 for me was great. And part of that was because when they said J19, I went, okay, J19, that sounds familiar. Let me look that up. Oh, it's Seleucami. Oh, cuts on Seleucami. Okay. I went back and made a point of watching The Deserter before I watched this episode. Which is season 2, episode 4 of the Clone Wars. Where we first meet Cut, Sue, and the kids. That episode in the Clone Wars is 10 times more filler than this episode was. This episode set up quite a few things, but before we get too deep into it, let's talk about episode 1. Because we haven't on this channel. Episode 1 I thought fucking rocked.
Yeah, episode 1 was dope.
Yeah,
I think it was. I mean, I think we all hate Crosshair, but I think episode 1, like from the open, like episode 1 was fantastic.
As soon as I saw Deppa, I got emotional. I'm like, no, they're not showing this. They did change some things.
I do like how much we've gotten to see Order 66 from different perspectives.
Points of view. I was talking about this over on Cinefanatics the other day. We have 4 great renditions of Order 66 now. We have Revenge of the Sith, which in my opinion at this point is the weakest of them.
Yeah, I actually think all the ones that we've gotten actually heighten the moments of Order 66 and actually like make me feel more when I watch it. Like I think the rest.
I would say prior to the other 3 points of view, I would agree. But having seen the other 3 points of view, now when Yoda gets hit, I feel it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
When he feels the wave, I feel it because now I've seen Order 66 from all these different points of view.
We have just to lay them all out, we have the Clone Wars with Ahsoka and Rex, and that whole entire episode of Order 66. We've got the Bad Batch with at least half the episode being Order 66, and then we have Jedi Fallen Order, which is a real in-depth look at Cal's fight with Order 66. To me, Order 66 is, especially after this episode, now one of the things I'm most interested in learning more about now, because there's a lot of questions that this episode raises. Because before, all we knew about Order 66 was it was a subconscious command to order them to attack the Jedi. We didn't know that Order 66 had lasting consequences. I'll use the term reprogramming the clones. I thought it would have just been psychological consequences, right? Like, because we could see with Wolf and Gregor in Rebels that they're very affected by the things they did in Order 66 because they were part of it, right? Like, Wolf and Gregor did not get off scotch-free in Order 66. Rex... Really? Rex kind of had it easy in that Ahsoka was there to kind of, help him out. But, yeah, there's so much setup for Order 66 now. Fucking heartbreaking. I urge you to go watch a supercut of it on YouTube if you haven't. Just put Order 66 supercut and find the most recent one, so it'll have Bad Batch in there too. There's so much good in that. Bark.
Dipper agrees with you.
Tim keeps driving by my house to go to Bottle Logic. The opening for the episode, though, the actual opening with Tom Kane and the Clone Wars style, newsreel,
right?
And the fact that that's the last time we're going to get Tom Kane to do that that alone was emotional for me. For those that don't know, Tom Kane just suffered a pretty bad stroke and is no longer going to be able to voice act. So there's still some projects in the pipeline with him in it. Lego Star Wars, he's going to voice Yoda and Akbar. But Tom Kane has done a ton of voices for Star Wars. He did Yoda, he did Admiral Yularen, he's done the narrator for Clone Wars. He did Akbar in The Last Jedi. I don't know if he did Akbar in Force Awakens. But, and he's in a bunch of the movies doing all kinds of voices. Just a very prolific voice actor along with a lot of stuff outside of Star Wars. But yeah, he's healthy, but he's lost his ability to speak mostly. So that was awesome that we did get a last Clone Wars intro, and I love that because we're starting the episode during Clone Wars, that we're getting that Clone Wars intro. And then episode 2, we don't get that because we're no longer in Clone Wars. I would be remiss if I don't bring up the fact that they did change part of Kanan's backstory here. There was one line that they cut from Order 66, from Kanan's point of view, that because this event is shown in the Kanan comics, and there's one important line in the Kanan comics that Depa tells him, "I'll be right behind you." And the reason that's important is because he tells Ezra that several times in similar situations. So I feel like that's kind of missing, where it feels strange that Filoni didn't include that because he wrote the line in the first place.
Well, in the comics, is it confirmed that Kanan hears it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But because it's basically the same situation minus the Bad Batch. The Bad Batch isn't present in the comics. And it's basically the same situation where Kanan rushes to go help her, and she says, "No, Kanan, run," and then "I'll be right behind you," and that's when he leaves. Yeah, Matt Whitehurst in the chat. He voiced Admiral Wolf Yularen in the Clone Wars, who was Anakin's Anakin or Obi-Wan. He was one of their one of the captains on one of their ships. He also shows up in Admiral Yularen shows up in A New Hope, not played by Tom Kane.
Yep.
But yeah, what'd you guys think? The opening scene.
I loved it. I wasn't anticipating us actually seeing this in animation or in like any form. So when I realized kind of what was going on, I was like, "Oh shit!" Like it hit really hard because Rebels is actually my favorite of the shows as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I was not anticipating seeing Kanan again, and when it happened, it was just, oh wow. I will say it was a little weird having Freddie Prinze Jr. still voice him, just because of the voice. But
I wanted to ask you guys about that because that was weird.
It was, but I still had fun with it, man. It doesn't bother me in the end.
I think it was to give instant recognition to the character.
100%.
Especially because he's not being called Kanan.
Right.
Yeah. That, and because I don't think Depa is enough of a clue for a lot of people to know who the Padawan is.
Well, for example, I was on a show with Adam Witt the other day talking about this episode, and he asked me, he said, "Who was that kid?" Because that kid's obviously someone important. I said, "That kid's Kanan." He's like, "Oh, no shit, it is. Why'd they change his name?" And I had, I explained to him, "Oh, well, Caleb is his name," and, but yeah, I don't know. I agree. It was weird. It was jarring.
I mean,
instantly knew who it was, though.
Yeah, it was. The first time he spoke, I was like, really? And then after that, I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I just kind of got over it too. Like, all right.
On my second watch, it didn't bug me at all, but on my first watch, I'm like, especially because Freddie Prinze Jr. has such a good, like, he's such like a distinct man voice, I don't know.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. But I think, and maybe it's also for people who didn't really watch Rebels, because again, Rebels wasn't, streaming. Rebels is free Disney Plus. So I think there are a lot of people who have not seen Rebels and have not gone back to watch Rebels if they're more casual Star Wars fans. So the voice doesn't mean anything to them.
But it also helps for kids who have seen, like, because they never explain the Kanan Caleb name change. They bring it up briefly in Rebels, but like they never really explain it. So I think for kids watching, like, as adults, like especially someone in my position, like yeah, of course I know Caleb Doom, Kanan Jarrus, same character. I think for kids, it's important to have that same voice so kids can instantly recognize it. Yeah.
One of the things I liked a lot about it too, though, at least for me, I was pretty blown away just getting this idea of what it was like for the Bad Batch in that moment. Like that was not a thing I'd ever really thought we'd see, and like how did they react to that situation as they start to see and find out that all these clones are turning, and like that was such an interesting kind of introspective look that I hadn't really ever considered. And that's kind of the foundation I like about the show, is that we're getting these versions of the clones that were defective, essentially. And now we're seeing through their eyes, basically their brethren and their other versions turning evil, and they're not. And like, where is their place in the galaxy in that? And so the whole situation with Hunter and Kanan throughout that opening was just very kind of brilliant. And Kanan being the scared boy who's just trying to survive, like, it's not lost on me that Hunter looks a lot like John Rambo, and that the entire opening is set in the forest with him trying to hunt.
Yeah. And I think we're probably going to get an episode where they really lean into the Rambo thing. Yeah. The other thing with this is I had kind of been questioning, as soon as they revealed this show, the first thing that came to my mind was, okay, do they have chips? Are they going to commit Order 66 and then regret it? And we kind of get that answered. So it's revealed that, yeah, they do have chips, but because of the other behavioral programming that went into making them commandos, the chips are kind of overridden, except for Crosshair.
It wasn't the behavioral stuff. It's the genetic modifications that they made.
But tech heavily implies that each one of them is also conditioned to have a certain demeanor and a certain
that too. But he says
attitude.
He says it specifically because of the modifications that were made to Echo. Because Echo also has a chip, and Echo was not a defective clone.
But with Wrecker, he says, "Well, you're conditioned to be this way. Why wouldn't they also condition us to do this?" So
but that's coming from the clones. What I'm talking about came directly from the Kaminoans.
No, right? Yeah.
I don't know her name. But
Nala Se. It's Nala Se. Nala Se is the clone. Is the like chief medical officer for the Kaminoans relating to the clones. Yeah, she does bring it. She does kind of. She does kind of break it down a little better. Yeah, I really liked seeing the sort of like Palpatine address from the point of view of the clones too, and the fact that that's broadcast throughout the galaxy. And, like, the attempt on my life has left me scarred. They just did such a good job showing the immediate events of Revenge of the Sith from the clone perspective. Brian Braley brings up, they also, Tech does drop the line, "You're more machine now than man," to Echo, which was kind of funny.
Because it's Star Wars, it rhymes.
Yeah. But then we go see Saw Gerrera, which is great.
I was really into this. Oh, go ahead.
That felt a little weird to me, but
I think it did a good job of illustrating like getting the point across that Tarkin was trying to do of, showing that now the Empire's turning against their former allies. I think it being Saw is good for the audience to realize, oh, this is who they're eliminating. Not separatists, but allies. And the problem is that Saw has kind of just... Saw has permeated Star Wars now, that he's in Rebels, Clone Wars, Fallen Order, Bad Batch. He has ties to Inferno Squadron. Like, he's in all these different elements now that it kind of makes it... He's kind of, like, in the background of so many things. It did feel weird that it was Saw and we only really get 2 lines from him.
I'll say I liked that they brought Andrew Kishino back to voice him, just because I felt like obviously we're still close to the Clone Wars version of the character in the time frame. So to go back and have him come back, but there's a little bit of a change in his voice where it sounds like you're starting to lean a little bit towards the Forrest Whitaker version. So I thought there was a nice bit of transition there, and I'm sure that a part of it is that we're going to see the character again. I think that's fully intentional.
I think it's possible. I mean, that's a good point that I didn't really think about, is that might be why they introduce him here, is so that they can bring him back later. And even if you're not familiar with him from Rebels or from Clone Wars, because while yes, we know him in Rogue One, but his significance here is more important to the Clone Wars significance than the Rogue One significance.
Yeah, it just felt weird to me because, like we were saying, this is for kids. It's for, and it's not necessarily for people who have been the most hardcore Star Wars fans up until now. So they may not realize that Saw is an ally. Like they don't know who that is. To them, it's just another dude. So it's not necessarily the Empire eliminating allies. They don't know that.
Well, and that's what I think is Echo. I think Echo brings up that they were trained by General Skywalker and Commander Tano. So, like, they do kind of bring that up.
Yeah.
And that's why I think they established him in this episode, is so that they can bring him back later. Because exactly to your point, the kids watching it aren't going to realize, he's in Clone Wars, right? They're gonna go, that's the guy from the first episode that they didn't kill.
I think that Dwayne also hit something that I think Star Wars still has not fully figured out as a entity of itself right now, is when you're doing the shows, how far do you lean in on the stuff that is made for like the canon fans without alienating the people around it?
So I want to springboard off this.
Okay.
That's what I like about episode. Yes,
that's fine. But the only reason I bring this up is because I think of people like my parents. And this is always my go-to example, just because, obviously everything is relative to who you know and what and I grew up watching Star Wars with my parents, but like when they watch Mandalorian and Ahsoka shows up, they're kind of like, wait, what? And there's not really explanation to it. Luke shows up and they lose their minds. But on something like this, like them already asking me about Bad Batch, and then they kind of want to watch it, but like that the Saw thing is going to throw them, because there's no way my parents would really remember Rogue One, and they'll have no idea that this character also had his own history in Clone Wars. Like, I like it for the fans, but I do understand where Dwayne is coming from too, where this is a show also that's aimed for kids and like general audiences, and you have to ride the line of how are you telling your story.
Absolutely. And that's kind of my... It's hard for me to look at these shows without my unending depths of Star Wars knowledge, because, we all know I'm just a repertoire of Star Wars trivia. But yeah, I mean, it's with Tup in episode 2, or Cut. Who's Tup? Tup's a different clone. With Cut in episode 2, it was really interesting that they brought him back of all characters, because he's in one episode of the Clone Wars, and he's someone that a lot of Star Wars diehard fans have brought up a lot. Like, well, I wonder what happens to him after Order 66. Nothing. He's fine. He's not affected because he doesn't hear the broadcast. which raises so many questions about that broadcast. Do you have to hear the broadcast to be triggered, or is it just a Wi-Fi wave that snaps their chip? Apparently, it's got to be part of that broadcast. Because the Bad Batch didn't even hear that broadcast. Only Tech did. Because Tech was saying in episode 1, the regs are talking about XYZ.
I think, and this is just me, closing the gap for myself.
Oh, spitball away.
I think it's similar to the code words for the Winter Soldier. Like,
Yeah.
you had to hear that because Crosshair didn't start acting weird until Tech said Order 66.
Mm-hmm. You're right. You are correct. You're 100% correct about that. Episode 1 is great. We, just skimming through the episode, Omega is introduced. Did you guys figure out, how quickly did you guys figure out she was a clone? Did you guys already have that assumption going in?
I knew as soon as she was introduced, only because I had the subtitles on. So
Yeah.
I saw the spelling of the name, and I put Alpha and Omega together very quickly.
Yeah, I had the same thought because I watch everything with subtitles.
Had I not had the subtitles on, I would have thought her name was spelled completely differently.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's funny.
Based on the pronunciation.
I saw some people on Twitter talking about her, and they spelt it really fucking weird.
Yeah.
And then later they're like, "Oh, this is how her name's spelled," because someone, the Namaste says it later. I knew from the trailer that she was going to be a clone, just because that's
the trailer.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Well,
I'm proud of you.
The first trailer or the teaser, because I saw that where we find out that Fennec Shan isn't in the show.
Whatever
But
trailer
after
she's
that, I didn't watch anything about the Bad Batch after that.
I think that was the first trailer.
Yeah, that was the one
I
they
stuck to.
released. That was the one they released at Investor Day, right?
Yes,
Mhm.
because I hadn't watched anything since either.
That's the only bit of
I think that's the only real trailer they put out, actually.
I don't remember Omega being in that.
I think whatever trailer, I think they show her briefly in that. And the funny thing is, she is Boba Fett's character model without the forehead furrow and with different color hair and a little softened jaw. Referring to baby Boba Fett here. And then the accent is the other thing too. The only Star Wars characters we have with New Zealand accents are the Fets and the clones. So that's the other thing too. It's like, okay, well, clearly she's a clone. And it's not that she picked up the, because you could make the argument she picked up the speaking pattern from the clones, but she would have picked up the speaking pattern from the Kaminoans before she did the clones. Because she didn't go through the same training the clones did, most likely.
I mean, we'll see. She was pretty handy with a blaster.
Okay, let's talk about that. So, Cut brings up something very... This is why I don't think episode 2 drops a lot of little lines that I think are going to be important to the show. So it establishes the parenting theme for Hunter to Omega. It establishes the dysfunction in the team that I think is important going forward. And then it establishes the Kaminoans do not create without a purpose. So why was she created? What is her function?
And no idea. I haven't put it together yet. What her?
I think I know. I want to see if
I have
PJ.
no idea.
I think she's force sensitive.
Interesting.
I think she's either force. So I have two thoughts. So going down the Star Wars path, I think she's force sensitive. Going down a little bit more of a sci-fi path, I think she has a more I think that she might have some sort of empathetic bond with other clones. So, for example, it could be that being around other clones, she's picking up their skills. She might be like a Taskmaster clone.
I think the problem, though, with having a force-sensitive clone is it kind of throws everything that we've discovered since
from Rise
out
of Skywalker.
Whack. It throws that out of whack, though, because the one thing that they weren't able to succeed in was creating a body stable for Palpatine. But if the Kaminoans did it, that kind of like, okay, so like how did, because we all know what eventually happens to Kamino.
Not necessarily. So that's exactly it, right? So this is there's a few other clues here that bridge these gaps. So number one, Lama Su is very specific with Nala Se. Say nothing about this to the Empire. The other thing, when Tarkin's talking to Nala Se, or Tarkin's talking to Ton Wee or Lama Su, one of the Kaminoans, let's just say one of the Kaminoans. When Tarkin's talking to one of the Kaminoans, they say we have 5 defective clones, or 5 of these genetically special clones. Tarkin makes the assumption that 5s, or Echo is one of them.
Yeah. No. I'm with that. I understood at that point that Omega was the 5th.
So it's possible that the Kaminoans did develop a way to do it, and then that they did develop a way to do it, and then it's not recorded or it's lost in the occupation of Kamino or something along those lines. That is a possibility because we know something is going to happen to Kamino, most likely occupation, based on the fact that we see the scientist in The Mandalorian with the Kaminoan badge, which wouldn't happen under current Kaminoan structure. That would only happen as a result of the Empire. So it's possible that when the Empire does occupy Kamino and take over their cloning facilities, that that information is never transferred down the line. PLD brings up the next thing I was about to say. PLD is on the same wavelength as me. They might be able to create a Force-sensitive clone, but not one to house a strong spirit like Palpatine. Because a Force-sensitive spirit inhabiting a clone is different than a clone developing Force sensitivity in another method. We don't know that Palp's son isn't in some way Force sensitive, but maybe not a strong enough Force sensitive for Palps to have inhabited. Palp's son in this case being Rey's dad. Because cloning clearly doesn't cut off Force sensitivity totally, because then we would have no explanation for Rey, which already kind of makes the whole thing a bit weak anyways.
It makes... I mean, Force sensitivity as a whole is kind of a wash. We still have no understanding of what makes someone Force sensitive. Are they born with those midichlorians? Are the midichlorians attracted to someone who's Force sensitive? It's a whole fucking wash. Let's just leave it at that. Because if it's the latter, then how did they create a Force sensitive clone? Because if midichlorians are attracted to Force sensitive people, like, how did you create someone who just is Force sensitive?
And that's been one of the that's been one of the things that they subtly approached in Legends with Qui-Gon's character. It's one of those things that they subtly, in Legends a little bit, they've subtly brought up upon in like the lost season of Clone Wars, season 6. I don't know.
I want you to know real fast. I've just sent the link to someone very special that I'm going to be very excited to pop into the show soon.
Anyways, that's all the time we have.
No, you stop that
so
right
I'd
now.
like to thank everyone for coming today.
Sean.
We will go ahead and see everyone
Sean.
tomorrow.
Sean, stop it. Sean, bad Sean. We'll find out who it is when it gets here, but I'm excited.
I'm guessing it's
Yeah.
PLD.
It's not.
I don't know. I don't think that Omega is going to be Force sensitive. While that may be the ultimate goal of the Kaminoans, I don't think that is her purpose. Because I don't think that with the 4 other defective clones, they haven't made a significant enough leap in those 4 to then all of a sudden have a 5th Force sensitive clone. I think
I like that. I like that a little bit. And yeah, I don't expect her to be a powerful Force user. I expect her to have some Force sensitivity, more of on the empathy level than the actual, more on the empathy level than actual, throwing rocks. Because she shows a little bit of not quite precognition, but like when she's sitting in the cell with Crosshair, she says, "I know what you're gonna do, and you don't have to." Like, whether that's reading his mind or seeing into the future or something, the clues, they've laid out the clues. Now, whether or not those clues come to fruition is a whole other thing.
That's so. That's what I don't think that was the Force. I think that's going to be something else. I think that's going to be her, because like what they've done with every one of the clones is they've made, whether it's their strength or their senses or their mind, or their reflexes, they've enhanced one part of their natural physiology. And I think it's gonna be something with Omega's mind or one of her senses, and that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, and
it's not. But I don't think it's going to be the Force. I think it's going to be their first step or their 5th step into researching how to replicate the Force.
And that's fair. And that's kind of the same.
I think it's going to be more akin to why all the Mandalorians have jetpacks and flamethrowers, is because they were finding ways to replicate Jedi abilities because they couldn't use the Force.
Right.
And I think that's what the Kaminoans are doing. They're using what they know to replicate Jedi abilities, but it's not actually the Force.
PLD has an interesting thought here. Avar Chris is a Jedi, but I'm having a hard time remembering exactly which one that is. Was that the one that was stationed on Kamino?
Or what if she's a cross between Jango Fett and Sifo Dyas?
Okay,
because they would both have. I mean, we're getting into some real rabbit hole stuff here, because they would both technically have female DNA and you would be able to create a female clone from the DNA of the both of them.
Wait,
but
PLD, why Avar Chris? Because she has the same haircut. Avar Chris is a Jedi from the High Republic.
But
okay, yeah, that's fair. They both have female DNA, but
Brian Bailey, we use the word defective because that's the word that the Kaminoans use to describe them. That's the word they use to describe themselves.
Mm-hmm. They are. I'm trying to remember there's a different line they use in the Bad Batch episode with beneficial mutations. I think is the line they use, or
something like that.
Advantageous mutations. Yeah, that's fair. They could be pushing the High Republic a little bit with that. The problem with that is I don't think there's not a way that is conceivable for them to discover that it's an Avar Chris clone unless the Kaminoans just decide to name drop it. Just because none of the main cast are Jedi, like with Kanan and Ezra, you can kind of have them discovering Jedi lore. With Avar Chris, with Omega and Hunter and the rest of the crew, it's a little less likely for them to, be temple diving. I've seen a couple theories that it could be Palps, because when she takes her headband off, she has the Palps haircut, the animated Palps haircut, sort of. Which is a bit far-fetched for me, but it's kind of funny. PJ, what do you think? Where do you stand on this?
I've just been enjoying listening to you guys talk, if I'm being honest.
Also,
if it was Palpatine, it would make sense for the occupation of Kamino to come next. That they discover that they were successful and that they were hiding it.
And it could have also been even that Palpatine gave them his DNA as a way to try to preempt.
All right.
Oh, hold on. All right, I'm gonna. Okay, let's go ahead and give him the due introduction that he deserves.
Yeah.
Please don't copyright strike me for this.
They'll demonetize the video.
Well, we don't monetize anyway, so that's okay.
Oh, well then you're fine.
It's one of my favorite songs. He's not on screen. I can't bring him on because he's not on screen.
I think he's doing that on purpose, actually.
Introducing the star of my fantasy schmodown team, my number 9 pick, Alex. Middle name, Marzonia.
Yeah, look at that guy. Look at him dance. Banger of a song.
Hi, Alex.
Dude. Look at him.
You are totally getting demonetized. I still didn't switch my distribution service, so sorry, PJ.
That's fine. We don't monetize here anyway. It's all going to work out.
Wait, what do you mean you couldn't switch your distribution? Have you had trouble with that in the past or something?
I just have forgotten to do it in the past 2.5 years that it's been out. And oh my god, it's been 2.5 years since I released that song. Crazy.
Has that song been out 2.5 years? I feel like it just got released I feel like it got released in August.
Well, last year doesn't count, so
yeah,
that's fair.
That is true.
What's up, guys? What did I walk into?
We are talking about the Clone Wars and why Omega is or isn't Force sensitive, or Bad Batch.
Cool.
How are you, Alex?
I'm good. Yes, I just celebrated Mother's Day. My aunts who came over are leaving right now. We're all fully vaccinated, so this is the first time I've hugged them since I think Christmas 2019.
Wow.
So it was just a weird, surreal feeling, you know.
Wow.
Really nice. But yeah, how are you guys? What's up, y'all?
Good. Just surviving.
Man. Yeah.
I told everyone this is gonna be the longest episode of the Unwind.
Yeah. How long do you usually go? Because I always watch. I know this, but I just want you to remind me.
It's usually like 2 hours, roughly.
2 hours.
I'm glad I joined at 1 hour and 45
It's going to go longer at this point.
No, I think we're just going to start rolling in guests as we go.
But
better.
Man, I'm glad to hear your fam's vaccinated. My parents both got vaccinated, so today I got to take my mom to see In the Heights. Her first movie back at the theater in like a year now, which was freaking dope. I miss you, man.
Have you seen it, Alex?
I've seen a bunch of the productions. PJ, please tell me what you thought. Did you already talk about it here?
Fucking triumph.
We already talked about it, but I'm okay with talking about it in front of you because you're an In the Heights fan.
Lights up on Washington Heights up at the break of day. I wake up and I got this little punk I gotta chase away. Want to do the rest of the song?
You should have really been in it. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Didn't I actually help you with like a casting tape for that?
You did. Yeah. Roka actually helped me with break down the audition script, and then we filmed at the apartment. Me and Patrick Hogue and you helped me film at the apartment. Yeah, that was really fun. We were up for a bit there.
That
I
was good
was like
time.
singing my lungs
That
out.
feels like a lifetime ago. God damn.
Dude, I still have that video. That was 3 years ago now.
I think you should release it. You need to release it to the public.
Oh boy,
Release the Marzonia cut.
I don't know if anybody wants to see it. Okay, but
You
PJ, do you think the role I was going for, Sonny, do you think was the casting choice good, or should they?
The casting choice was great, but it'll never be Alex Marzonia, Sonny in my heart.
Okay, what I've seen from the trailers and everything, the footage I have seen, I think he is age appropriate.
He is age appropriate for sure. I like the kid who plays him too. He was in that Vampires in Brooklyn.
Yes.
Yeah, that one. Yes.
And we got two parts of the.
Yeah, the Vampires
title.
versus the Bronx, or Bronx versus the Vampires. It was a Netflix movie that was real similar to Attack the Block, but with vampires and kids in the Bronx, and it's freaking dope.
Chat wants to know: is it better than Hamilton?
My opinion is yes. I prefer In the Heights to Hamilton.
All right. I will say, without having seen Hamilton, it's having seen In the Heights, it's very different because Hamilton is a pro shot of the Broadway production. In the Heights is an adaptation of the Broadway production. So very different.
Make it happen. Make it happen.
I'm in for that.
We'll get.
What does that mean?
Chris Clark says that he wants to do a Suddenly soundtracks for In the Heights.
Oh,
and
Suddenly.
So, yeah, Suddenly soundtracks. Did he spell it wrong? No.
No, I just thought
he spelled right.
It
thought
didn't
it
happen.
spelled wrong, but,
He spelled the wrong.
Yeah, and looks. He added an extra O because Chris, but that's okay.
That's why you confused me.
It's not the most egregious Chris Clark typo of all time. I'll say that.
Dwayne, are you going to watch this movie?
Yeah, I am. I'm not a huge fan of musicals as a whole, but I really enjoyed Hamilton, and
you helped me with the cover last year,
and everyone talked it up. So I'm gonna give it a really liked all. Well, not movies, but I think he to step up 3D, and after Crazy Rich Asians, everything in between, not so much. But if I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Dwayne, I have one thing to say to you. You broke up a little bit on that one.
Yeah.
Oh,
we got the.
But
yeah.
we got
the general gist.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
No, not your fault. It's
not your fault.
Internet. Yeah.
Blame Cox Communications because their name is Cox.
I mean, I don't want to get your channel in trouble, but yeah, blame Cox Communications.
Hey, everyone else in LA bashes the other company, so
yeah,
you know.
That company doesn't service down here, so
yeah, I know.
I did watch the first 3 Step Up movies, and the first one's good. It's fine.
Did he direct the first 3?
He directed the second one,
and the third,
and the second one is where it freaking steps up because it's so much more energetic. Like there's actually so much more dancing, and like just how like kinetic it all is, and I see that in the trailers for In the Heights, and like can't wait. It's another month from now, and I promised myself that that'll be the first movie I see back in theaters, just to say that it was. So I'm saving myself for that, and it sucks because I can go now.
I just hope that it gets enough people back into the theater that AMC stock starts going up.
Yeah.
Because
I wonder why, Dwayne.
That would be great.
Hey, I just got a few stocks as well.
I
of
have
AMC.
I have a lot.
I need to do that.
Now, Alex and
What's
Dwayne as well. We didn't do this with either of you. We have a segment we do on the show every week. What did you watch this week? What did you play? What did you read? What's your favorites?
Did Alex answer if he liked Hamilton or In the Heights more, by the way?
Well, he hasn't seen In the Heights yet, or he hasn't seen the new In the Heights yet.
I've seen both productions.
Yeah.
So which production do you like better?
I like In the Heights better because it's more personal. I can tell it's much more personal to him. There's my answer.
I just wanted to get the answer, so I didn't feel like the odd duck.
I think there's a lot more emotional. Like, as someone who has not seen the production but knows the songs pretty well, there's a lot more emotional resonance in the songs for In the Heights than Hamilton.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Not yet, Jeremy, but I very much want to.
This week I watched. Let's see. I watched The Final Table for, I don't know, maybe the 100th time.
What is The Final Table?
It's a cooking competition on Netflix that has a bunch of Michelin star chefs like competing in it. And instead of doing like weird, funky challenges, it's literally just them cooking, and then someone decides what tastes the best. That's it. So I really, really like it. It's got some really inventive recipes and dishes in it that I would really like to try. And it's given me a lot of restaurants that I need to check out someday. I also watched The Bad Batch. I watched Solo. I like Solo. The Baker and the Beauty, the American remake, and then I watched a little bit of the original Israeli show as well, which was an interesting watch. Comparing the two, like culturally, and like it was an interesting watch for sure. One is on Netflix, the other is on Amazon. I watched Faster.
Is that the one with The Rock?
The Rock and Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah, I love that movie. It's very cool.
Was that before Fast Five or after?
Yeah,
Fast?
it's like
it's way before.
Yeah,
it's
Is
the
it
movie
before
that was,
Walking Tall?
No, it's after Walking
after.
Tall.
It was a rundown.
It was originally conceptualized as, I don't know if you guys remember the video game franchise Driver.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Yeah.
So it was originally conceptualized as a driver movie, and they couldn't get it quite association, so it's kind of changes a little from the game. Six that I watched. I think that's Mighty Ducks.
Hell yeah!
I watched that.
Well, speaking of the Mighty Ducks,
Hold on, let me give him a.
all right, you do it.
I mean, you could do the intro, but I got to give him some music here, right?
Music. We got another guest coming on here. I'm very excited. I love the people we have here tonight. What a motley crew of individuals.
I think we're going to do this one.
All right, well, get it up. That sounded weird.
Oh.
Our next guest is a huge fan of all things The Mighty Ducks. It is currently his favorite show on television. He's also our resident horror nerd, and he knows a thing or two about a good cold beer. His name is Tim Franco. What up, buddy?
Go, go, Godzilla!
What, man?
He picks up a bus and he throws it back down as he waves through the buildings toward the center of town.
So apparently I picked the right song for Tim.
Godzilla.
That song fucking rocks, doesn't it?
I am, I'm a big Blue Oyster Cult fan, and not just like Godzilla and Burden for You and Don't Fear the Reaper. I like a large chunk of their catalog. I was super into them in high school, so yeah, Blue Oyster Cult rocks. Anyways, hello. Hi, Alex.
Hi,
How you doing?
Hi, Name.
Hello. Hi, Sean. Yes, Name.
Yeah.
Name goes there.
Name is here.
Alex,
What's up?
What did you watch or read or?
What did I watch? Let me see. I'm gonna pull up my letterbox. I should have done this while Dwayne was talking. So let me tell you what we're doing. Oh, me and my parents are doing an Audrey Hepburn watch. Watching all her movies. And I think I realized why I like her so much is because she's very pretty. And also, she looks like my crush. So, like,
that's
nice.
tea right there.
It's very nice. Very
Ooh.
nice. Let's see. Okay, so we did Roman Holiday last week. We did Sabrina last Saturday. Yesterday. What day is it today, guys? I don't even know.
Today is Sunday, I believe.
Sunday.
What else?
Sunday. My perfect Sunday.
My perfect Sunday. Little Fish. Check that out on Hulu. It's really good. It's really sad, but it's also very good. It's Olivia Cook and Jack O'Connell. My boy Jack O'Connell from Skins and Unbroken. It's a memory loss movie, but it's like a worldwide plague of memory loss. And it was supposed to come out before COVID, so it's kind of prescient in that way. So if you can handle all that, then you'll love this like emotional tale of just people trying to remember each other.
I can absolutely handle it. And what's that called? Because that sounds interesting.
Little Fish, and it's on Hulu right now. So go watch it right now.
I mean, we can't watch it right now because
Nope,
we're here.
put it on right now, PJ.
No, this is like Spaceballs. Like, is this now or is it then? You know that whole.
When will then be now? Soon.
Spaceballs classic. If you've never seen Spaceballs, please watch Spaceballs.
You got a Spaceballs question into a Schmodown recently, didn't you?
I did, and it made me very happy.
Real proud. It's real proud.
Yeah, it was what is the name of the president on Planet
President
Spaceball?
Scroob.
Yeah, which is Brooks spelled backwards for those who don't know. See? Like Sean didn't know. Sean, are you playing video games?
No, I'm putting on...
Enough with the beaming.
Damn it, Sean, we're on stream again.
Yeah, but Alex told me to do it right now.
Yes, right now. Tim, Dwayne, are you doing it right now? Come on, what's going on here?
I am not.
I'm
Uh,
looking at my crypto market watch list. If I'm being 100% honest, I'm looking at.
You get in on
cryptocurrency right now.
Dogecoin, Dwayne?
I did.
I got a few of them.
I made more money than I probably should have.
Same.
I also what I'm looking at currently though right now is Ethereum because it has gone up $1,000 in the last week.
Yep.
Which one's Ethereum? Ethereum's the one. Is that in between Dogecoin and what's the big one?
Bitcoin.
All right, guys. I hate to interrupt, but
who let
we
this
have
man in?
we have to introduce another guest to the longest Unwind of all time. Give me a second while I pull up some music for him.
I just need to be clear. We have to.
I mean, I can leave him backstage, but I feel better if we bring him in.
I know we're going to lose at least one viewer, and that is Jake Yakavetta if we bring him on. Oh, God.
Who wants to do the honors?
It's PLD.
That was the best.
What's up, guys?
We actually have. Look, PLD. I'd love to give you your time in the sun, but
one more competitor just entered the ring.
One more guest.
Right.
Dwayne, I'll let you do the honors on this one again too.
I don't know who it is.
It's DLP.
Yes, DLP.
Digital light projection.
I can't see backstage, Sean.
It's Chris Clark, ladies and gentlemen. Chris Clark is here.
There he is.
Wait. Wait. Are we live?
Oh yeah.
Oh shit. 1 second. Hey guys. Hi. I gave you
I gave you intro music and everything.
Oh, I just realized. Oh, that's what you were doing. Okay. Oh my God.
Do you think I'm giving anyone else Meatloaf as their intro music?
This is so great. Fall in love, and I want to do that. Oh, no, I won't do anything. Oh shit! You did the fucking single edit.
Look, it's the one that fucking came up on Spotify, Chris. I don't know what you want from me.
How you guys doing?
We're good. I mean, you made anyone who just tuned in just got the best laugh of the night. So there's that.
Chris, tell us what are your opinions on the Bad Batch? Because we know you watched all of it, all 16 episodes.
Yeah, it was amazing. I really liked the part where the two guys basically said, you know what, we are fucking bounty hunters and we're gonna slay the children. It was awesome. I had not seen it, but
Jesus fuck,
I was all in. I haven't seen it either.
Did I miss that?
But I haven't seen the Clone Wars either. So, but I'm watching. I'm going through the Clone Wars right now.
I love this classic Chris part.
Look, I've lost
I think Chris would learn to check the YouTube before logging in.
I've lost the because how many times has Chris jumped into the stream and said, "Oh shit, are we live?"
Yeah, sometimes I think we're just on call. It's cool.
Look, I don't know how to bring this show back on track. So,
I can talk about what movies I watched this week.
Perfect.
Great, Tim. You're in charge now. I'll hang out down here with Alex.
This week I watched Tenet for the first time.
Okay.
And it was fine. I didn't love it.
Is he your favorite Doctor?
No, yeah. No, actually, he was my favorite Doctor, but now Matt Smith has become my favorite Doctor.
Yes, fist bump that. Fist bump that.
I also watched RoboCop from 1987, the classic Verhoeven film. I watched David Cronenberg's The Brood, which I had actually never seen, and that was great. Very Cronenberg, so strap on in if you ever want to watch it. Killer Mutant Children. And then
beers?
Huh?
It's not about a brewery?
No, it's about a brood of children. The Brood. They're just like this brood.
Gotcha.
And then I watched Ginger Snaps, which is a really great werewolf movie that I'd recommend. And then I watched this very bizarre South African new film on Shudder called Fried Berry that is based on a 2017 short film of the same name. That was, let me just tell you, a trip. It was a trip. You see some probes going into penis. You see some probes going into anus. You see, it was a movie.
Oh, there's a lot of probes.
And
it's called Fried Berry.
Fried Berry. Yeah, it's about a guy who's a drug addict. Gets abducted by aliens, and an alien goes into his body, then goes back down to Earth, and just kind of lives through his body and experiencing things that a human would experience. So he goes and does a bunch of drugs, has a bunch of sex, does some violence, and then takes off. It's crazy. It's pretty crazy.
Anyone here been probed before?
Definitely not.
Been probed.
Oh wait, what? Chris?
No, just
the U.S. government said I can't talk about it yet. It's still under NDA.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah.
Probe.
This is so fucking stupid. It's great.
Chris, what did you watch this week?
I pretty much
can't wait for this.
Okay, well, I watched. Oh, you know what? I did. I actually watched this anime. It's this animated movie. Something. It was because we had to watch the dub and we had to watch the English version because we were in the theater.
Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer. That's it. It had a pig guy with a mask on, and they kept crying and stuff. And they had big eyes. Yeah, it was really cool.
What would you rate the film?
I'll give it Box of Rocks.
Box. That's the bad rating. You're giving it the bad rating.
Oh wait, a box. Wait, the box that rocks. That's
Box
what
that-
Box that rocks. Okay.
it was cool. I just don't. I'm just burnt out.
Okay.
Today was Mother's Day, so.
I mean, the movie, while being somewhat self-contained, is also replacing a season of the show. So yeah. So they're
The ending was really emotional. Yeah.
Yeah, so they did I forget how many seasons of the show, then put the movie out basically for the next season, and then they're going to do another season of the show following the movie.
It's just weird that they're screening both the non-English version and the dub because it gets really confusing for people wanting to get tickets.
They're doing that for the weebs, the sub only people.
Yeah, I get that.
I'm a dub guy personally. I don't watch any anime, but if I was,
For me, it depends on the anime. There's certain ones that the dub works, and then there's also other ones where there is something that is lost in some animes, translating.
Because they have to westernize it sometimes, and it just
the emotion isn't there. Also, just like the literal translation doesn't quite line up with what's going on the screen as well. So
and often they did that a lot with Dragon Ball and Pokemon when they aired them on other networks. Yeah,
and old timey kung fu movies. They were usually more entertaining when they were dubbed.
Even the Godzilla films.
Exactly.
Paul.
Yes.
Mr. Denuzio.
Yes.
Why does everyone put an I at the end of your name, Denuzio?
Because that's actually how my grandfather pronounced it. So I usually say Denuzio for that reason. But like, it's one of those things where if somebody calls me Denuzio, I don't correct them because my mother actually would say Denuzio, so that people didn't spell it wrong. I kind of have the feeling that there used to be an I in there somewhere along the way, and it was.
And
dropped.
your grandfather just forgot how to spell.
Dropped it on the way over or something.
Gotcha.
Hear that, or else it's the other way. Maybe it's Denuzio, and then like when he was signing the form, he saw somebody was like, "It's Denuzio, Tony, what's going on?" And so that's how it became Denuzio. Potentially, I don't know.
Well,
you have to donate one eye on Ellis Island.
That's what it is. That's to get in. You got to get the eye. Okay.
Well, Mr. LD, what did you watch this week?
Well, this week I've been on my Bill Murray oeuvre. So I've been kicking back. I got some Larger Than Life, which I actually hadn't seen before. It was much better than it should have been.
That's the elephant movie, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's a big dumb movie, but like I actually kind of was entertained by it. I think it's because of Bill Murray. That's the only reason why I was entertained. Space Jam, of course, is an all-time classic. The Man Who Knew Too Little, which I saw in the theaters, didn't like it like way back when, but actually loved it this time around. I don't know what changed about it. Maybe I just got more older and tolerant. I don't know. And then finally, Wild Things was the one I watched last night, which is always a good time. I don't care what people say about that movie. It's a movie that has so many twists and turns.
Bill Murray's in Wild Things. I forgot.
Yeah, he's the lawyer.
Oh yeah,
he's the lawyer. It comes in at the end, throughout the whole thing. At the very end, that's like the last. Like when the credits roll, there's still another twist that he was involved. There's like 7 or 8 twists to that movie. But so as long as you accept that, you have a good time with it. But I did want to mention while talking here, Sean just left. But I'm rereading the Dresden Files, and I'm on a White Knight, the Dresden Files.
Don't worry, Paul. I'm still here. I just wanted to see.
Ooh, the ghost.
Whoops! I popped myself out there. I wanted to see what happens when the 2 hosts left. See what you guys did. It was kind of a science experiment.
That's cool.
Well,
Like
Paul,
great.
it's funny you should mention that because if Patrick came back, we would do an on-air discussion about our upcoming show about the Dresden Files that we don't have a name yet for.
Oh.
The Dresden Files.
Yeah, I thought about calling it the Dresden Files or the Campbell Files.
What about the Dresden Files?
The Dresden Files. I like the Dresden Files.
The filing cabinet.
The filing cabinet is good.
No,
That's actually really good.
Call it the Dresden Files, but spelled Philes.
Oh, there you go.
That's not bad, but it's probably taken.
It might be. I mean, if it isn't, it's a mistake that it's not. So.
Probably taken. If it's not, we will use it. But yeah, Patrick and I have talked about doing a Dresden Files show for a while. We said we were going to launch it sometime in February.
It's not a thing. It's not taken.
Oh, really?
Ooh.
I just looked. I couldn't find anything on YouTube.
Yeah,
guys, go ahead and tune in to the Dresden Files, February 2021.
With a P. With a P.
I have never seen that show. Why should I watch it?
Well, you should not watch the show.
Yeah, the show is actually
not
that great.
Hot garbage, but the books are also hot garbage. So there's a book series called Dresden Files, which is about a paranormal investigator / wizard.
Yeah. Okay.
In modern day Chicago.
When you call him a paranormal investigator, it makes it sound like he's like the Conjuring guys. He's not.
I know. I did that on purpose.
You did that.
He's like a wizard cop, right?
Yeah, he's a wizard cop.
He's an PI.
He's a wizard dick, basically.
He's a private investigator.
Oh, wizard dick. Okay, you got me. He
is also. I will warn.
A big knobbly staff.
I will warn anyone. I'm going to warn anyone looking to get into the Dresden Files. Harry Dresden is a misogynist.
Yeah, he's got some definitely. Yeah,
but it serves the character. I've seen a lot of people complain about that, but like. If you read the whole series, it serves the character.
Were they written by Ian Fleming? Just kidding.
They were written by Jim Butcher.
Yeah, I knew that.
Jimothy Butcher. Yeah. All right. Well, who wants to talk about what? You guys take the floor for a little bit. I don't know when we're ending. I can't end when PJ's not here. So.
No, it's all good.
I went to the bathroom. Sorry.
Oh, hi, Patrick. We were just talking about our new show, The Dresden Files.
I heard.
Yeah.
We were talking about it. That's the
PJ,
thing.
Everything come out okay?
For a while. What was that?
Everything come out okay?
Yeah, it's perfect.
In the bathroom? Good.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Bathroom.
Yeah.
Glad to hear.
Cool.
I just love that we just keep, like, the viewership just keeps going, and people are just here for the chaos.
Yeah.
Okay, why am I on... What are we doing here?
Keeps going down. Keeps going.
God, we're not
down.
doing this. I am not sad Ben Affleck. I am not sad Ben Affleck. God damn it.
I saw PJ yesterday. He wasn't sad.
I was not. In fact, I was a little bit tipsy yesterday.
Why are you so sad, Patrick?
What are you sad?
I'm not. Actually, that Bottle Logic beer, man, it's just still the best. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Patrick, I have an important question. As per your mother.
You cut off Tim, you horrible person.
No, I just said it's delicious.
Yeah, it's delicious.
As per your mother, Patrick, how's your dating life going?
Well,
Hello, darkness,
fuck you.
Bye.
I can't believe you. I can't believe you. Well, actually, I can't believe you.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
How about that? We'll leave Tim right there.
Left your seeds while I was
so
sleeping.
That's beautiful.
And
The
the
clip
vision that was.
I mean, that is a pretty
planted
accurate Mother's Day question.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
asked me when we were at lunch today, and I was just like, "Oh, that's a thing. Thank you for that." I didn't have a better answer for her other than, "I'm paying for your lunch. Let's not talk about it."
I mean, that's
Jesse Swift here in the chat is looking for chaos. I will say that we have successfully achieved chaos tonight. I think we need to change the name of the show from Unwind to Pure Chaos whenever Maxwell's not here. And hell, even when Maxwell is here, it's Pure Chaos. So,
The Sunday Evening Chaos.
yeah, I don't know what people expect from the show at this point. I mean, when the first episode of this show involved us talking about our favorite desserts and scrolling through New York bakeries.
Oh, that cake looked delicious.
Yeah, it's in the opening.
I had cake
Yeah.
this morning. I had cake tonight.
Yeah. Cake is
I'm on
really
a diet
good.
and I can't have cake.
I mean, I shouldn't have it either, but it was Mother's Day and my mom made it, so I had to have some. So.
Hey, you can't turn down mama cake.
And my sister made ribs. They were delicious.
I'm
so good.
I'd like some cake and ribs. That sounds pretty good. Mostly because I didn't have
Ribs. I had ribs for lunch. That's why I'm doing this. Who knows where it's from? Anyone? No one? No one knows.
Nope.
I did not miss that, PJ.
No, look at them. They're cute. They're
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. They still do that, huh?
I mean, this is calm though. They're just playing in the background. They
sizing each other up here.
They look like they're slow dancing. Oh.
Like they're just, and then they're gonna go sit in the corner and it'll be fine. And
Whenever PJ's dogs fight, that's the theme song.
they have their own theme music and everything.
You know, I think I haven't looked at the numbers. Oh, that one was on accident. I haven't looked at
What the fuck
I haven't
was
looked
that?
at the numbers, but I don't know if the shows are better when I'm on them, or if
Why would you say that?
I don't know if the shows are better when I'm on them, or if they're just much less professional. I'm not sure which it is.
Well, it's one of the other.
That one wasn't me.
Column B.
I didn't do that one.
I like that Alex is doing the bacon dance on the side.
Oh, it's a bacon. I thought that was a flag. Oh,
Chris.
Wait, 1 second.
It's the bacon flag.
Let me look at that.
It's the bacon
Oh,
flag.
that is bacon. Okay, I thought it was a fucking flag. I'm sorry. I don't
Flag of our people.
I almost feel like we should end it on Chris thinking bacon was a flag, because how else do you end the show than Chris Clark being like, wait, I thought. I mean, I agree with Jeremy. We do need a bacon flag. Yeah, do the dance. Hey, Alex.
Classic.
That's the Badger dance right there. For those early viral internet days, for those who remember Badger.
Beautiful.
Badger.
Glad that
Oh,
this
man.
is all happening
I
on my
don't know.
first appearance here. Love it.
This is not your. There's no way this is your first appearance here, is it?
It is.
On Sundays?
Yeah, on Unwind it is.
Yeah.
On Unwind.
He's definitely
I-
done Suddenly soundtracks in the
He did
past.
Hamilton.
Yeah.
We're gonna do In the Heights too at some point.
Hell yeah, let's do
So
it.
we only have Alex on when we're talking about Lin-Manuel.
Davin wants to know if Alex is going to be on Show Me Naughty.
Ooh.
Does Alex know about Show Me Naughty?
Oh.
Here's the thing about
This is
that.
what I think it is.
So Alex,
Are you
Show Me
naughty right
Naughty.
now? Let's go.
Chris
I'll,
Clark was a star of Show Me Naughty. If that's
Yeah, so Show Me
no.
Naughty is. I will explain the show and then I'll explain why I did not ask Alex to be a contestant. Show Me Naughty is the PJCN dating show, where we have one lucky 30-something bachelorette who is. Why are we solo viewing?
That's our 30-something bachelorette.
30-something bachelorette.
Oh, no, I mean we've got a logo here in the thing, right?
Do we know?
I don't know. Pull up. There we go. So we have one lucky 30-something bachelorette and many, many suitors trying to vie for her love. Now it's your former roommate, though, so I figured if it was going to happen, it would have already happened.
True. Yeah, we shared a bathroom, so I don't know. I don't think it would. I understand why you haven't asked me.
Yeah.
If it happened, then it would have happened already by now. But you know.
But listen, I've got one more guest here.
Oh shit!
Is it the dancing bacon?
It is the dancing bacon.
I've got one more guest.
I like that it's right on PLD's face. So like when it goes down, it's like right. You look at him.
It's not just on his face. The bacon is teabagging PLD.
I'm trying to make my nose be the dangling bacon. Bacon bits.
Right. So our next guest.
How's that bacon taint smell, Pat? PLD.
Our next guest is also our next guest for our next box. And that is Jonathan. Guys, I still don't know who this person is.
Okay, well, just play a song.
I'll play a song.
All right. Introducing a man who decided to have a stream yesterday about shaving and mustaches. One of the people on this stream.
Hold on. No. Stop your music.
There we go. All right. Introducing from the Quirky Mercs, managed by Coy Jandrew. His name is Jesse the Jackal. Hey, what's up, bud?
Hey. So Dwayne had the music ready today, huh?
Yeah, I had it. I had it this time.
Were there coyote howls in that?
And David says he's going to strike our channel.
Well,
I'm sure the audio is real rough. How you guys doing tonight? I'm sad that I missed the vast majority.
I mean, look, we just had Bacon teabagging PLD.
I've already announced this is going to be the longest PJCN show ever. So.
And I was going to say that I have no interest in coming on if I'm not going to get teabagged by Bacon. So.
Okay, well let me hear.
There's no way to do that.
Paul, I'm going to drop you out for a minute.
All right, teabagged by the Bacon. There we go.
Oh yeah. Use the tongue. Use the tongue, Jesse.
That was seductive as fuck.
I'm getting teabagged by
Wow. Salty sensation all over my face.
Kale, I don't know what you expected from the Sunday evening.
If there are any children watching, you shouldn't be watching, and it's not our fault. It's your parents' fault for letting
you learn sometime.
Or if there's any children watching, you can learn a lot.
I always check the box that says not for kids, so you know.
I think we should too. I don't know if we do or not because I don't set any of that up.
Never have.
Well, you can't monetize a video that is not for that is for kids.
We don't monetize videos anyways, so you know.
No, we do not.
And Maxwell in the chat, Maxwell, Chris, pull up Maxwell's comment. I have a response for him.
Oh, there you go. I got you.
I officially want to say,
I don't know what you expect, Max. I really don't.
Comment of the night.
Did you guys hear how bad we got Sean Wingblade on our stream when his phone connected to the Bluetooth in his car and his kids heard us talking about whores and bisexuality, aggression?
Aggressive bisexuality, yeah.
Oh, great.
That's awesome.
Great.
Incredible.
Speaking
Dave,
of
good
Maxwell,
news.
It was his fault.
Good news. David says he's not going to strike us anymore.
Oh,
Nice.
Oh, David.
Thanks.
nicest thing he's ever done.
Appreciate you.
It's funny because he wrote our theme song and he still wants to strike us.
I know.
You know what? Well,
Try to make it make
David. You can't strike this one.
CFCL intro.
It is
It is.
the gold standard of movie trivia.
That's right.
Gold standard movie trivia. I need to get a good backlog of all David B's music because I know he's got some things that I don't have on there. We'll give Alex some music to dance to. I don't have a longer clip of that one. Sorry.
I just keep seeing Alex
Double
doing that, and
cheeked
I
up
just
on
continually
a Thursday
remind
afternoon.
Just totally got to go Marzonia's promo for when he has a match in the FCL.
Well,
we should just literally anything that happens should just come from
here.
Alex being here.
Let's go ahead and Alex, do you want some good dancing footage for your promo?
Sure, let's do it. Let's do it.
Oh my god.
You gotta have the bacon in there at least, so there's some context. There you go.
Oh god.
Wow. Hot.
Oh my god. Oh, we have descended into madness.
I just wanna fuck you. 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 matter, I'm just seeing if you can. You're a good girl, all nice and sweet. You're a real bad bitch, yeah, good and street. Whoa, I'll take you to the telly now, so you can bounce on my belly now. You know it's on tonight. I'ma beat the pussy up until the morning light. Put your ass in the air while I'm doing my thing. Face buried in the pillow while you scream my name like
Oh, this song's so inappropriate.
Positions in the second hand, funky style. Now move that back, yeah, work them hips. Pull down south,
All right, I think that's plenty.
Happy birthday to the great Jake Yakavetta.
Happy birthday to the great Jake Yakavetta. Giving us that gold.
All Jake wanted for his birthday was to see PLD get teabagged by Bacon. As long as we gave that, then it was a good birthday.
Guys,
tune into our new show, Show Me Bacon.
Show Me Bacon.
Look, Max, this is the new Sunday evening undress. I don't know.
The Sunday evening unzip.
I think
Look, guys,
get to the BJCN.
Anyways, Jesse, it's been great having you. Don't crash. You step away from 1 hour, and this is where it ends up. Yeah. I don't know what you expected, Brandy.
Brandy, you're a patron. You know how this is.
You know how this ends. You know what happens when Maxwell isn't here. PJ and I run a tight ship. We stay on topic. And
or on target. I'm not sure which.
Stay on target.
Correct.
I had to swipe through a few screens on my soundboard here. I don't have the fancy soundboard. I got the cheapo one. Anyways, look, guys. I just want to thank everyone for coming to tonight's PJCN Unwind. Where can people find Jesse? Because Jesse left.
The Movie Trivia Schmodown.
What's his channel?
Flick and Reel.
Yeah,
Flick and Reel. It's not a sex thing. I know it sounds like one. It's not a sex thing.
Oh, that's
Flick and Reel. Oh, hold on. Look.
Oh,
we
God,
were about
can't
to
go anywhere now.
We were about to end the show. We were about to end the show, and now we can't. We have the second most prolific musician in the Schmodown. Number 2. Actually, I think he got dropped down to number 3 because of Bateman. Yeah, Marzonia.
Look at the face he's giving you right now. Do you see that?
Marzonia, Bateman, this guy. He wrote
I
such
just realized it's
bangers.
The 3 B's of the Schmodown.
It's what?
The 3 B's. Like, I don't know.
Marzonia?
Yeah, Marzonia is
Yeah, he's nothing to start with the B.
It
Is
is.
it B?
Silent. It's silent.
Silent. Marzonia.
Silent B.
Silent B.
All right. Well, anyways, he wrote such bangers as the Corruption theme song and other songs that I don't have on my soundboard. Introducing David.
Hi, David.
The business.
Hey. Number 3, huh?
I just want to note it. I had nothing to do with that, David.
Number 3. I remember that, Sean.
Look, David,
remember
I
that.
just have to look at the polls. You know, just like, I'm the 7th ranked Star Wars competitor. You're the
We
number
here
3.
at the PJ Campbell Network would like to formally announce the departure of Sean Sullivan from our network. We do not identify or support any of the comments that he has made in the past. And going forward, we would like to pledge our undying support for David Biscuit.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we would like to also say that we are now promoting Dwayne Burke and Alex Marzonia to full-time at the channel in Sean's place.
David, are you rocking a New Order shirt?
No, but it's not what you think.
Okay.
Yeah. But it does say New Order, but it's not.
Not the band.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, I know. What's up, everybody? I'm sorry I stopped us from ending the show.
No,
I did not know we were ending it.
We weren't. I mean, look, this show will probably go forever at this point. Let's be very real.
It ends what it ends.
Now you're in the bacon teabagging position.
Oh wait, he is.
That's true.
David, I'm sorry. This is now the initiation for the stream.
There you go.
But you got to get teabagged. Look at him. At least look at that bacon.
He's all in there.
He can blow that wind instrument.
Yeah, there it is.
David B's got that ass-eating metal.
Hey, so just to clarify, if I leave, does Dwayne take over the soundboard part?
No.
Who's that? Who just said something?
Satan.
Clearly, someone who doesn't support me. That's who.
Like I said, Satan.
It's Force Ghost.
It's Force Ghost.
Really?
Hey, Sean, why don't you play the Flirtenflaus theme? Oh, that's right, you can't.
Oh.
Oh, it's biscuits.
Boom, roasted.
It's biscuits.
There we go.
That took you a hot minute.
That wasn't Sean that played that.
That music's amazing.
Even better.
Well, I'm officially jealous of Andrew WK, according to Twitter, so that's cool.
Me too. I saw that today too. I was like a bunch of simps all weep together.
He's dating Kat Dennings.
Yeah.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah, I did see that. I
But
didn't know that was a thing.
at the same time, doesn't it make sense?
I mean, it's. I think it's a good match.
Yeah.
It's, it's not shocking.
May they have epic parties.
Hey,
Party hard, party hard.
You could have been one of the as much as I hate to say this about my own community, you could have been one of the spiteful bisexuals that was mad at Aubrey Plaza over the past week.
What did she do?
What did
She got married to a man. And all of the women on the bisexual side of the spectrum were like, "Oh, she's not a real bisexual because she got married to a man." That's not how that works.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to let you know that's not how that works.
Jesse would like us to know that his pee apparently smells like dog food, and he's confused.
Wow.
Stop
Thank you,
eating
Jesse.
dog food.
Yeah.
Did the
That's
tea
for
bagging
dogs.
and the bacon have anything to do with that?
Hey,
Yes,
David
it
David B, while you're here, I just wanted to give you some props and say my favorite David B theme song is the one for Schmodown Backstage.
Can we mute him? Like forever?
Wow.
There you go. Yeah.
Silence forever.
I tried.
I want to say something so bad right now, but I'll be the better man and say it once we're off air.
What?
So this is going real well for a Sunday evening online.
This is just awesome.
Love it.
Oh,
Chris, that's
Chris,
very sarcastic.
Chris, have you shown everyone the theme? That I
I'm
wrote
not
for
showing
you?
everybody. His theme that he wrote for me is essentially Meatloaf. It's amazing. But
Do we want to reveal it tonight? Is tonight a David B theme reveal stream?
His mix isn't finished, so I would like to cut together something for it before I can share that because it's amazing.
Yeah.
I can't wait for you guys to see it or hear it. I showed it to I think PJ. You heard it.
I'm very unwind.
I don't know. I'm pretty winded right now, and that's just purely because of Sean.
Well, you
Hey,
just got here, though.
David B.
Oh,
David B.
fuck. What?
You
What?
know I
¿Qué
love
quieres?
You know I love you.
Cállate el pinche hocico, güey. No te creo.
I don't speak.
Exactamente.
I don't.
David, that's amazing.
What is?
That you can
The-
speak
the
another
name?
language like that. That's awesome.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Chris, there's people literally all over the world who can speak other languages.
No. I mean, that was just like really cool. Like, no. Wait.
Thanks, Chris. I've never had anyone compliment me for my Spanish ever. Thank you. It's usually comments like, "Why is your accent so weird?" But
No,
in
it's
Spanish.
cool. It sounded so threatening. Oh, I'm a dumbass. But it sounded so threatening and innocent at the same time. It was cool.
It sounded so threatening.
But innocent at the same time.
We've been talking about this man all
We
day.
have been talking about it.
Jake
all night.
Yakavetta, happy birthday.
Happy
We've said
birthday.
that like 14 times, hoping you were in the chat, and you weren't.
Happy birthday.
Jake, you missed PLD being teabagged by bacon. Well,
That's true.
I mean,
Wait,
we can redo
We can,
it.
yeah.
Wait, yeah, here.
Or it could be me. That's fine if you'd rather
No,
see
it's
that.
gotta be PLB. It's Jake's birthday, so you know.
Yeah, yeah. All right, here we go. Ready?
Wait. Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you get that bacon, Paul. Mmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a Denny's. This is
What is the chaos that we have created?
Paul just rendered some bacon fat.
Hey.
I think it's time to end the show.
All right. PLD, where can the people find you?
PLD Projects, sometimes here with you guys, eating Aiken's ass all the time. The FCL on Tuesday, Action Industries, all over the place. C2A, everything you want. Everything.
But mostly eating the bacon's ass.
Mostly eating the bacon's ass, yes.
Yeah, of course.
David Biscuits, the greatest composer of the Schmodown.
The damage is done, Sean. It's too late.
I mean,
it's too late, bud.
Where can the wonderful people find you?
They can't find me on any future Unwinds or PJCN sponsored shows after today.
But you can also find him on. But you know what? You can find him at David B Music on Twitch. You can find him at David B Music on Twitter. You can find Sunday Beats over on Spotify or wherever you get your music.
Stop.
Under David B. It is a wonderful.
Please stop doing what you're doing. Just shut up.
You can actually find him on David B Music 21 on Twitch.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, my one true friend, along with PJ and Dwayne and Alex. Even though we've barely hung out, he's my true friend, and Tim, and even Paul Denuzio. Everyone else, though, terrible people.
What a great segue, Alex. Where can the people find you and your work?
You can find me dancing with bacon and on Spotify. Where's my friend? Give me my friend.
All right.
Oh, that's the wrong one.
Hell yeah! Find us in the club.
Alex, real quick,
Get
can we
vaccinated?
Alex, can we make a punk rock band called Dancing with Bacon?
Oh, let's do it.
Let's do it. Next project. Look out
your
for
first song can
2020.
be "Fuck Sean."
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't give you the glory.
Tim Franco. Where can the people find you?
Find me on Twitter, tfranco. 84, my birth year.
So those numbers mean something.
Don't forget it.
I accidentally pulled him from the stream.
I like
fucked
this
up.
layout right now.
Chris Clark. Where can the people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram at ChrisClark8788. Those numbers mean nothing. Bada bing, bada boom. Every Wednesday, Suddenly Soundtracks. Every Saturday night, Family Game Night. Doing stuff on Twitch too, so make sure to check it out. Bop.
Is it family friendly on Twitch? Because
No.
doing stuff just concerns me.
No. It's highly adult. Even though we're playing children's games.
I like Alex popping out of the side of the stream.
Dwayne Burke. The wonderful Dwayne Burke. The illustrious Dwayne Burke.
You can find me anywhere and everywhere on the internet at BurkeMade, on my YouTube channel on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific for technical difficulties. Fridays 11 a.m. Pacific for Desertman Live. You can find me on the Schmodown Entertainment Network on Tuesdays and Fridays, Engineering Backstage and the Inner Geekdom Show, and then Tuesdays on the Schmodown Twitch for FCL, running the board and keeping the show on the air. And I think that's it.
No matter what we do to sabotage it.
And of course, you guys know where to find me. You can find me at Suit of Sully on Twitch. Nope, Twitter. Suit of Sully on Twitter. Sean Sully on Twitch. You can find me here sabotaging shows and in David B's mentions apologizing because I love him very much and he knows that. And you can find PJ at PJ_Campbell on Twitter, Instagram, and other things. And here at the PJCN, don't forget, be nice to the writers. They're only human.
Yes.
Pat, do you have anything to add to that? Did I nail your outro?
Also, you did. Also, wear your fucking masks. Get vaccinated. Let's turn this shit around. Go watch In the Heights. You're welcome.
In the Heights doesn't air till
A month
June.
from now.
I don't care. I'm telling
This
people.
little punk, I gotta chase away. Pop the grade at the crack of dawn, sing while I wipe down the awning.
Hey y'all, good morning.
Ice cold piragua, parcha, china, cherry, strawberry, and just for today, we got my mate. Oye, Perguero, ¿cómo estás? Siempre, señor Snavi.
That was a beautiful one man.
Fuck yeah.
Please leave this office.
Do we get any sort of souvenir?
Get out of my office!
I'll be back.
I gotta pay.
Throw me a frickin' bone here. I'm the boss. Need the info.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Heavy is the head that eats the crayons. I'm gonna take a nap. See you in 10 hours.
Dude, I almost had you. You almost had me. You never had me.
I like your style, dude.
End of line.